What is up, RotoGrinders? Week 13 Thanksgiving slate of the NFL Pick 6 show. Myself, Dean Shavelson, joined by two of the absolute best in the business, John Daigle, Established the Run, ETR, Rich Hribar from Sharp Football Analysis. Of course, a little bit different this week. We're recording on a Wednesday night, so we're going to talk about the Thanksgiving slate. Those are the three main games. The three main games are, it's a Thanksgiving slate. And you know what? Thank God, because the main slate is absolutely vile. We'll talk about that too. It is horrid. The biggest total on the board, I believe, is 47.5. It is super, super gross. A lot of games have team totals hovering around 40 or so. But yeah, we'll give our favorite plays for that slate as well. Happy Thanksgiving. Daigle, how are things? Happy Wednesday night.
Wonderful life. It is a tight slate, by the way, we're going to talk about. We hinted at it last week that it's a fun one because a lot of explosions could happen here. We'll talk about them slowly individually as we move along. But also, I think we're setting up for some traps on this slate, not to mention ownership collecting at a lot of the same individual salaries and punts. So we'll discuss it all as we move along.
Yeah, I'm running some optimal stuff. We'll have the conversation. A lot of double tight end, a lot of Mike Gesicki on FanDuel because he's just so cheap over there. Yeah, we're going to have the conversation. But three good games we're expecting. All these games, I think every one of them would be the best game if they were somehow on the main slate. I believe so. But
sadly.
Daigle, you were not tasked with it, but I guess we'll talk about it when we get there. But I wonder how you would have picked the three best games that are left remaining.
You can. I would have picked one and told everyone to F off. No, we'll get there eventually, but we're going to talk about isolated offenses because a lot of teams this week are going to dunk on the other team by 30 points. And so I'm going to try to hone in on some like 4 touchdown offenses as opposed to spread out game exposure because this happens every year, Dean. We get to the point where, in week 16, we're talking about tournaments and there's just so many injuries. It happens every year, the offensive line and then the quarterbacks and then the efficiency falls, which makes the wide receivers worse as well. But I think we're already at that point, honestly, through all the injuries.
Rich, your general assessment as far as the Thanksgiving slate. Yeah, I think the lowest total we have on the board is 48.5, Green Bay and Detroit in the dome there. We have some injuries as well that are of note. We'll get to them as we knock out the games, individually. But do you have a general thought as far as the old Thanksgiving slate?
It's probably the best Thanksgiving slate I can recall. At least they went to 3 games, right? Like this is usually we have like some terrible quarterback that's always here. Like last year we had Drew Lock against Cooper Rush. We've had guys like David Blau. It's like all the quarterbacks are good. Like it's exciting to have actually like 3 good games. Now they like they said, like when we get to Sunday, we might regret that we put all 3 of these games and stacked them up, but that's okay. We'll take it. It'll be fun. It'll be a fun Thanksgiving.
I think it's the most wide open. That's the most fun part about it. Because previously, yes, we could only hone in on 4 good quarterbacks. But the fact that perhaps, I'm going to push back against some of these, but any offense could go off, that makes it more fun for tournament exposure.
All right, let's do it. Without further ado, we'll dive in. We'll talk about the first game on Thursday. I think it's 1 o'clock or 2 o'clock on the East Coast. Packers, Lions, 48.5 is the total. The Lions are, 2.5-point favorites here. Some injury news coming in that we had, let's see. Well, Josh Jacobs expected to play. Jaden Reed not expected to play. Not sure about Matthew Golden, currently questionable. We're down to tight end 3 for Detroit because Brock Wright is out. Also, Khalif Raymond is out for Detroit. They did sign Frank Ragnow out of retirement, but I assume he's not playing this game. He'll be back soon enough, but some line support coming in soon. Daigle, how do we feel about the Packers-Lions? Start wherever you want to start.
I guess I'll start from the softer Packer side because naturally we want to get on the Lions indoors, although we have questions about how Dan Campbell will handle this as well, given that it's a must-win game. It's a tougher opponent where historically, at least going back to last year, he leaned on the run a tad more, which would make you think that maybe David Montgomery's more involved. But the Packers, I am concerned about. They are the offense that I probably will not have any of Jordan Love, whether you're a multi-tournament player, whether you are a single entry and trying to make this your core, just because of what he's done in the last month. I know you mentioned, Dean, about injuries and Matthew Golden. Matthew Golden, as far as I'm concerned, hasn't played all year, so who cares? But two, Jordan Love, he's thrown 2 touchdowns in the last month, in the last 4 games. not really someone we're really concerned about. No longer, like we could have previously said that Jaden Reed's going to be here. He's the one replacing Tucker Kraft, but that's really what's made this offense fall apart entirely. So I look past Jordan Love personally. I see all the convoluted situations, and we'll get to this because, all of us also this week, as opposed to past shows, at least for the Thanksgiving slate, have projections as well. And so I look at someone like Josh Jacobs, who cleared from the injury report entirely on Tuesday, but could still be involved in somewhat of a timeshare if that injury is lingering with Emmanuel Wilson. I look at Javonte Williams, we'll get there soon, who is going to be in every touch back, but we know he has scored a touchdown to return the points we pay up for him. And so really, I'm just trying not to make the mistake of paying similarly for a similar projection when the ownership is collectively gathering on one player I'm chasing. And so I don't want Jordan Love personally, and I instead just take on the discounts here that really includes Christian Watson for me, just because rarely do we ever get a receiver who's priced respectively, at least on DraftKings, 4,700. But last week in general, 33% target share, 88% routes run, including more routes run than Romeo Doubs. It's just such a discount for his price. So I start there regardless of which lines we're going to play, and I try to build from there.
Rich, how many lineups you got to make until you get to a Jordan Love stack of some sort?
I mean, you got to is in your 150.
Okay.
Is he though?
Maybe.
You got a pinch, right? I mean,
yeah. If you're doing 150, but there aren't a lot of good 150 tournaments, to be honest, because I've already made 150, and there aren't a lot of good 150 lineups or tournaments out there. There's some terrible tournaments too for you gamers out there. That $5 milli on DraftKings,
the top heavy.
Yeah.
That 600,000 entry, like, just send me your $5 or however, whatever you're entering in that. Just send me that if you're trying to beat 600,000 people in a tournament.
40% up top.
Yeah. yeah. That's a terrible tournament. But there are some real bad 150s. There's some good 30s, but mostly there are some good single entries though. A lot of good ones.
Yeah.
That you can get into. It's a great single entry slate. So yeah, when you're playing your single entry slates, especially if you're doing smaller field stuff, you don't really need Love because you can play it more towards like a median projection if you're trying to cash just for upside, right? Like, the rule of thumb, always the larger the entrants go, the more points you'll need, and maybe kind of off the reservation you need to get. So yeah, largely just 150. I mean, he's not, if I was ranking the 6 quarterbacks, I mean, he would probably be 6 for me.
Yeah.
But these two teams did play last year in Detroit, and they got to 65 total points. Maybe there's a way there. It's really the Tucker Kraft injury. Like, just removing Tucker Kraft from the lineup has been such a massive deal for this offense in general, but primarily Jordan Love now. I mean, he's now got 130 dropbacks of Kraft off the field. His yards surpassed him, go from 8.3 to 6.7. His touchdown rate drops almost a full percent, and his completion rate drops almost 7%. He's just so vital what they do because he's the only guy that they could create after the catch. That's why we were looking kind of hopeful for Jaden Reed maybe to come back this game, because this offense is just really missing a player that you can get the football to in space and can create. They just don't have that guy right now.
Yeah, really missing Kraft. I see you in our chat. What's up, chat? Hit that like button, subscribe, turn on notifications. Appreciate y'all that listen to us live a lot. I know a lot of people do not, but yeah, Wednesday night, 8 o'clock on the East Coast. Dynasty Dave Rich is asking, and this is like a 150 question, or 150 thoughts. Like, you're trying to beat 60,000 people. What about John Fitzpatrick as, like, I guess, a pivot off of Gesicki?
That's the most 300, not 150 question I've ever heard. Yeah.
You and your wife are entering 150. So yeah, no Fitzpatrick. Look, there's no bad plays. I guess I'm doing quotes.
Yeah.
If you're trying to shoot for the top and you get 40% of the pool, of the pot out of 60,000 people, I guess I don't know, but what's the selling point on John Fitzpatrick? Is he somebody that you would ever consider, Rich? Probably not.
No. When I even did my 150, I mean, I think I still only had 5 tight ends. I think this, because I mean, he only ran 25 routes last week, which was 47%. Like, even with a touchdown, I don't know if he gets you there. That's the bummer. Like, we all had the Jesper Horsted days where you're excited your guy catches a touchdown. But I mean, there are some plays on this slate like that. Like, I don't even think if they got there, like, you can just get shadow helped.
Yeah. How about Detroit, by the way, Rich? Because, slate breakers last week, we saw how good Gibbs can be, home run hitter, hitting a homer in overtime. Amon-Ra, obviously spectacular. Maybe does Tesla get a bit of a boost in the absence of Raymond? Are we even considering? You said 5 tight ends are in your pool. I'm guessing none of them are named Firsker or Dwelly.
Anthony Firsker? Yeah, Ross Dwelly, unfortunately not. No, because even Brock Wright was going to be a thin play if he was available. He just would have been on it because he was the only tight end playing snaps. Ross Dwelly and Firsker they've run 3 total pass routes the past 2 weeks, and Wright wasn't even a 100% player. Like, they had mixed in more 11. Now Khalif Raymond's out. It's going to be interesting to see how they kind of rearrange the chairs here, especially in this matchup, because Sam Laporta was such a big part of the original matchup and going back to last year's matchup. So Jeff Hafley, like, what he's done against Jared Goff in these games has been pretty impressive in all these games. He just does a really good job of taking away Jared Goff's first read. That happened in the first time these teams played early in the year. It happened against them last year as well. And when Jared Goff, you're able to move him off of his first read, like, it kind of falls apart a little bit, the play structure. Not completely like a Tua type of stance, but like in that first game, he was 15 of 18 throwing to his first read target, 8.4 yards per pass attempt. But when not throwing to his first read, 16 of 19, it's a high completion rate, but it was a lot of checkdowns, only 3.9 yards per pass attempt. In that game, they barely blitzed Jared Goff at all. They played almost 100% zone. He only threw to his first read 53.8% of the time. That was his lowest rate in a week this season. And if you go back to last year, his lowest first read target rate in a game was also against these Packers. He's done a really great job. Obviously, if we're talking about that, is who's usually the first read on these plays is Amon-Ra St. Brown. Amon-Ra St. Brown has 4 games since the start of last year where he's had fewer than 20% of the team's targets. 2 of them have come in these 3 matchups against Jeff Hafley and his Packers. 2 of his lowest target shares have come in these games. In the 3 games against them, he only has 56 yards, 43 yards, and 45 yards. He's had 7 or fewer targets in all 3 games. And he had a season low 6 targets when these teams met in week 1 because St. Brown on the season is the wide receiver 4 in first read target share at 39.5%. In week 1, it was 23.8%. It was the lowest rate of the season. And he had a 15% first read target share last year when these teams played in week 14. That was his lowest rate of last year. Packers were also only allowed 100-yard receiver this year and only one other receiver to hit 75 yards. So Amon-Ra St. Brown, like, it's scary. Like, we've got hitters on this slate, but like, I think he's a soft fade amongst this wide receiver group.
Interesting. So JMO, do we like JMO?
Well, no, because I think it ties into the same thing. They've only allowed 100-yard receiver. Like, so I think that Goff also, like, this is the game I think has the most pass to failure out of the,
the
3. Maybe. It's indoors and it's Detroit and Dome. You have to fade it. I think Detroit's going to run the ball really well in this game, and we can get to that, but I think there's some signal here, especially when you compare, like, we got a slate with Jamar Chase on it. We've got Rashee Rice in like a really good spot. Like, we've got to choose amongst these high priced receivers. You can only even out your exposure so much. And, it says local man about to get dragged at 1:00 and reshuffle his lineups at 3:30. I think Amon-Ra St. Brown is my least favorite of the most expensive receivers.
Yeah, Chase, Amon-Ra, Rice, Lamb, Pickens. There's no shortage. There's 3 games, but a lot of studs here potentially for receivers. Do you agree with that, Daigle?
Yeah, Rich just laid it out because I think a key point when you start the slate, understanding that you're going to have 2 late swap situations, is paying up for either Jahmyr Gibbs or Amon-Ra St. Brown. You can have lineups that have both, but on DraftKings at least, it is going to be a tumultuous situation. And just the fact that, one, I don't think Dan Campbell or anyone can put this toothpaste back in the bottle. Like, Jahmyr Gibbs with 140 yards from scrimmage the last couple of games. The one in between that where he didn't even have rushing success still led his team with 100 receiving yards. And since their bye, which is from week 7 on, it's a pretty big sample. The Packers are allowing the 6th highest success rate in terms of running the ball. Like, it's the perfect matchup for Jahmyr Gibbs, honestly. That doesn't mean that David Montgomery can't score multiple touchdowns as he's wanted to do, especially if Dan Campbell wants to make the game more physical and play Montgomery to slow it down. I don't know what's going to happen there, but also I do think, as I talked about at the top of the show, Montgomery is a similar projection to Josh Jacobs, Javonte Williams, I guess Kareem Hunt to a lesser extent with Isaiah Pacheco coming back, even though we're not going to play Isaiah Pacheco. And then, of course, the night game with Chase Brown. So I'm just going to play the ownership game between all those guys. But Jahmyr Gibbs is the one that I feel like kills me if I don't play him, at least to start the slate.
Do you feel the same way, Rich?
Yeah, I mean, he's the one guy in the slate that just has like that all-purpose, upside, especially at home. And yeah, looking up to so the first game they played 9% man coverage rate against Jared Goff, and blitzed him 2 times the entire game. Like that was even with some shuffling out because Keyshawn Nixon's out, like they don't have anyone follow Amon-Ra St. Brown. They play cloud coverage and they try to take away that first read. So that's one of the things when you look at it. So it pushes me to the run game. The Packers also have been a significantly worse run defense on the road this season than they have been at home, which kind of plays into, obviously this matchup. At home, they are 6th in yards allowed per carry. They allow less than a yard before contact on running back runs, but on the road, it's 1.36 yards before contact. That's 23rd in the NFL. They're 16th in yards per carry. They've also allowed over 100 total yards to a running back in 3 of their past 4 games. One thing that's been pretty consistent, Dan Campbell's gotten a lot of weird credit for some of the play calling stuff that was already kind of John Morton was doing some of the stuff first, and he's kind of gotten credit for it. But the one thing he has done that's been pretty consistent since he's taken over is all 3 games, getting the ball to Jahmyr Gibbs in space in the passing game, which we were not getting a lot at the start of the season. And that's kind of where the upside now and the big crooked numbers kind of come from, right? You look at the start of the year, he cleared 3 targets in a game just twice the opening 8 weeks. Now he's had 4, 8, and 12 targets the past 3 weeks. And that's how you get to have 170 total yards, 146 total yards, and the 264. But he's also the guy that gets the long touchdown. So yeah, I think that Gibbs and just what he offers, like he's the guy that's probably the hardest and the most scariest to fade because of the rest of the running back pool too. And I know we have a running back against the Bengals.
We have 2 running backs against the Bengals, by the way. You got to play the best plays regardless in a 3-game slate. I understand that. But I think the 2 questions I fear the most from this game are...
But you can just play 100% of Gibbs if you're that confident. Like that's...
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I fear flipping over the David Montgomery card and seeing 30% because I don't want to play the touchdown or bust guy at 30%. And I think that's what's going to happen as everyone tries to cash in their Skolansky bucks from last week, understanding David Montgomery could be a good play, but also we know his floor and it's not good. And also the same thing goes for Jameson Williams because it is a slate where values are important. And as we saw last week, we now also understand Jameson Williams' floor, which is the same as the first month and a half of season 2. So I'm cognizant of their ownership because I think they're key in just unlocking the other players in this slate. Maybe, not to say you fade Jahmyr Gibbs, but maybe you just do Jahmyr Gibbs, a little bit of Christian Watson, you get done with it. Because probably the most unique ownership on this entire slate is going to be underweight Lions.
How live is 3K Tesla?
Sure. I mean, it's like one of those things. It's just like you're throwing a dart. We don't know. I mean, we just don't know how, like what the offense is going to look like with basically no tight ends now to be able to play.
Yeah, because the last time that they talked him up, remember Sam Laporta was still available, and then they actually decreased his routes run. But that doesn't matter when it's a different situation because Sam Laporta is no longer around. So maybe they instead run him more. And honestly, like if you're playing Dak, Flanoy's interesting. If you're playing Patrick Mahomes, Tyquan Thornton's interesting. If you're playing Burrow, Mitchell Tinsley is going to be over-owned. So it's like whatever. Just correlate the 3K guy to your quarterback. I don't care what you do from there.
Bateman 3-8.
But the way you play, if you're going to play Montgomery, you have to play it as the Lions win the game. Like that's how you have to structure it around. Because we've seen the past 2 weeks, like they've said they want to get Montgomery more involved, but they've been behind both weeks. And Gibbs plays when they're tied or trailing, it's the Jahmyr Gibbs show. He's played 71% of the offensive snaps and has 70% of the backfield touches when the Lions are tied or trailing this season. You need the Lions to win for David Montgomery. Those are his scripts. He's only played 34% of the snaps when they're tied or trailing. When they're ahead by 7 or more, he goes to a 50% snap share and he goes to a 50% backfield touch share. So you can theoretically still play both Lions backs together because you're playing it through like they win this game as, they get ahead and then they're playing ahead and then both backs are the guys that are doing it. So you can still, I think, play both lines together.
Rich, you said, or I can't remember if it was Rich or John. Somebody said that Love would be their sixth best quarterback, the worst quarterback on the slate. I think you guys both.
It was me.
Agreed. Yeah. Okay.
I mean, worst is like just objective to the slate, relevant
absolutely.
to the slate. Like,
yeah.
Is Goff fifth?
I think so.
I think so as well. Given like probably the fear that will come with Lamar Jackson's ownership, which will naturally then make him a good tournament play, I think Goff is probably fifth.
Well, because we've also seen too Goff even at home, while the splits are better at home, we've seen that like he has one like awesome game for fantasy at home, and that was the Bears game. And like the rest of the games are like pretty palatable.
Mm-hmm.
Like even last week against the Giants, right? Like it was like these are games that aren't like necessarily the old school Lions, like 50 burgers. Are they even that team anymore? We've only seen it once this season. But you look at his other home games, we had 17 points this Sunday. Then at home against Minnesota, 19.4, against the Bucks, 10.3, against Cleveland, 12.7, and then you had the 34-point game against the Bears. So like it's not like he has even been like this guy at home that you've absolutely had to have all of those weeks either. And he's facing a team that has given him problems, these past 2 years and earlier this season. And this offensive line like is got to hold up here against this pass rush. Micah Parsons barely played the first game, right? Like when he got traded, that was when he had the back spasms. And when he was on the field, when the plays Micah Parsons was on the field, they pressured Goff on 40% of those dropbacks without even blitzing. So the offensive line has to hold up here too.
All right. That is Green Bay and Detroit game 2. Kansas City hits house. You got something else, Daigle?
I just quickly want to reiterate that I do think a contention point when you're playing that second or third or flex running back spot is Dave Montgomery. And I'm really worried about his ownership with a lot of people trying to chase from last week. Normally, I'm the guy who says, I love Dave Montgomery. And I do. And he has multiple touchdowns in his range of outcomes. I think he's going to get overplayed in this slate for everyone chasing that atmosphere.
How many people are just going to initially just click Jahmyr Gibbs, Derrick Henry, and then build from there,
and then just figure it out?
But Derrick Henry on DraftKings is still really cheap for the matchup, anyways. It's only 6,600, right, Dean?
He is 7-3 on
7-3.
Oh, 7-3. Okay.
38%, Gibbs 38%. We have it 1-2. Do you have Montgomery higher over at ETR as far as ownership? We have 18% currently on DK. This stuff can change, obviously.
It's the kind of show we can talk about these things because they also did the ETR with Silva, Levitan, and Wiggins was free. So everyone knows the ownership. So I can tell you.
This stuff is always fluid too. You never really know how it's going to land and how people.
No, we're not throwing out ownership till tomorrow, but I can tell you projection at least. Gosh, I'm bad at this. No, we have Derrick Henry projected as the only other running back outside of Jahmyr Gibbs for 20 fantasy points. Josh Jacobs is the next closest at 16.5. Yeah,
that's basically where we're at as well. And we got 18% for Montgomery on DK, and we have 15% on FanDuel for what it's worth.
Yeah, like I talked about earlier. I mean, I said this top of the show. I think Chase Brown, Javonte Williams, David Montgomery are the same player. And so it comes down to understanding your lineups and making sure you don't chase the one at highest ownership because all of them are a 50-yard, 2-touchdown kind of guy with low floors.
All right. Game number 2. We'll get that to the second. Do want to mention, we didn't mention at the top of the show. I didn't mention it. My bad. We'll be talking about one battle after another. TJ's pick for the movie. We're talking about that after all the football. Plenty of football still to come, obviously. And also shout out to TJ because TJ won again back-to-back weeks. So he'll be picking a movie for us to watch. And also, let's bring back Liam Neeson. Let's do it, TJ. Speaking of TJ, Thursday morning here on this channel, 11:45 on the East Coast, TJ will be doing a show. So do check that out if anything changes or get your questions in. I believe TJ is going to be joined by Jordan Vanek. And I want to say Tim Buell, Tasteful Tides. All right.
You said a show, by the way. He's not like going back to New Orleans and you're following him. RotoGrinders is. and he's going to like go through the burbs and show us New Orleans, right? Like it's going to be a football show.
I don't know. You know what? You're going to have to tune in to find out. Who knows what TJ's got up his sleeve, but probably just talking football. There's going to go like
take me to the piano bar, TJ, and let's do a show together.
No New York style like chorus line, nothing of the sort.
Sing us a song, you're the piano man.
That's not the show you want. See, I don't know.
Not the bar I want either, but it's actually every bar after midnight, so it's okay.
Kansas City and Dallas, 52.5. That is the total. Dallas is a 3.5-point dog here at home. Rich, you're going to open this one up for us. Chiefs, Cowboys off that scorching comeback against the Eagles. I'm sure Eagles radio. Sports Talk Radio is lit the last couple of days, up 21-0 and blowing it. So that was all the points they got, I believe, in the first quarter, if I'm not mistaken. Rich, what do you got? Kansas City and Dallas.
Yeah, thank you, Cowboys. If the Cowboys better, I thought that was my money was dead very quickly. Good old Kevin Patullo Eagles always come through for us and never been able to put a 60-minute game together on offense. But yeah. And that was big, I think, too, for Dak to have that game against a quality opponent too, as well, especially coming into this matchup, against a good Spags defense. We have a really unique angle too in this game. Before we get into like the matchups here,
Pickens, Lamb, right?
What's that?
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. Lamb being cheaper than Pickens, I thought was the angle you're going to go. But go ahead.
It's also interesting. I agree.
We have one of these. We have a team that went into a full overtime game on a short week on the road.
Yep.
Chiefs just ran 91 plays on offense. These spots always have volatility. I had Warren pull this for me, but since 2000, teams on the road during a short week after an overtime game, 4-16 straight up. 4-16 against the spread. 7 of those teams were favorites. Those teams 2-5 straight up, 0-7 against the spread. And those teams allowed 6.5 more points than their opponents were projected for in those games. So kind of a unique wrinkle here because you don't get a lot of these spots during the course of an NFL season where you have the overtime games on a short week and the team goes on the road. But the Chiefs just did play a game where they ran a ton of plays, most plays in the NFL. And they're not going to have Trey Smith in this game, who's already been rolled out on the interior. So there are some wrinkles here. On the surface, though, like this is the game I think people are going to largely be attracted to. I think this might end up being the most watched football game of the season, too. Just given the time it's on of the day,
because
it just being the Cowboys, like it's gonna be an absolutely like massively watched football game. But if we can get past like that little wrinkle and that little nuance, there's a lot to like here on both sides. I think from a passing stance, I think that you want to attack the Cowboys through the air. Like when you look at like their roster now largely intact. They don't have Trayvon Diggs back, but like the cornerbacks are still where you want to attack them. And like, that's where the Eagles had their success. I don't think the Chiefs are going to line up and try to run the football on them, especially with Trey Smith out against Quinnen Williams. And you got Kareem Hunt coming off of a 33 touch game at, age 29. Like they're not going to come back and load him up. I believe he had a 29 touch game last year and then came back and only had like 13 touches the week after. So I think it's going to be a really pass heavy script for the Chiefs, which you always like with Patrick Mahomes. And then obviously the standout here is Rashee Rice, because the Cowboys they played man coverage in one game this year. And that was the game the Commanders were without everyone. And the Cowboys were like, you know what? Hey, they don't have any receivers. Maybe we should try this man coverage thing. And they did that. But other than that, they've just been completely zone heavy. They're 29th in rate of man coverage. Rashee Rice has been targeted on 32% of his routes against zone coverage, 3.5 routes per route run. In Dallas is also 31st in points allowed to wide receiver 1 targets. Practiced in full. We have to worry about that, whatever that hamstring issue was. Maybe it was cramps at the end of the game. So it really kind of starts here with Rashee Rice, and then a game where he could probably get, if this game is competitive, maybe have 12 plus targets in this game.
Yeah, certainly one of the better plays on the slate. And yeah, you mentioned one of the best offensive linemen being out for KC certainly matters as well. Daigle, did you have a take as far as feel free to talk about Kansas City, but I'm curious, Lamb versus Pickens. Pickens has been better of late, and now a little bit of a decision point, somewhat. I don't know. What does the field want to do? They're essentially the same price. We do see Lamb is cheaper, which obviously that's not the way it's been the entire season. That's not the way it was with draft season. I guess let's talk about Kansas City first, though, Daigle. How do you feel about the Chiefs?
Similar to Rich in that I think Rashee Rice is a good play, but I love Travis Kelce on this slate as well. Even the Quentin Williams, even with this team shutting down opposing run games, it's only been two games with Quentin Williams, but still we talked about Ashton Jennings last week, and then Saquon Barkley comes out. He only runs for 22 yards. It's been 2 weak offensive lines, 2 weak running games. I understand that, but I do think the Cowboys have turned a corner on defense, honestly. And so we like those situations. We talked about this in the past, including a couple weeks ago when the Bucs-Patriots game won slates for everybody, because we can eliminate one way you play offense. That means we can isolate the other sides of that offense, which makes, like Rich said, the Chiefs passing game more interesting because we don't think the running game can win whatsoever. It took Kareem Hunt 30 carries to get over 100 yards against the Colts. Not only that, but it's 30 carries on a short week. Isaiah Pacheco's coming back also to murky this backfield further, and Pacheco hasn't reached 13 fantasy points in any game all year. I don't want to play quite literally anyone from this backfield. And if they beat me, so be it. I'm going to lose the Thanksgiving slate. I don't care. So naturally, I'm going to play everything through the air here. And Javonte Williams is fine. He's a good play. If he wins tournaments as an RB2, it wouldn't be shocking at all. But I still think I trust Dak regardless of what the Steve Spagnuolo and the Chiefs throw at him. And that makes me, I know you asked about the Chiefs, but that makes me naturally higher on the Cowboys passing game because at least I can isolate this to a 6'9" auto click for CeeDee Lamb because, again, when is he ever 6'9"? Let's just naturally put our mindsets into that tournament mode and say, regardless of what he does, I want that salary. And then remember that George Pickens now with 9 targets in a month consecutive, 4 consecutive games, with 140 yards in 2 consecutive games. We have to zoom out. Remember that we've never seen this before. Like, all of us are trying to project for George Pickens against certain matchups, but we don't know how to project him logically because he has never been in this kind of situation where he's actually played with a quarterback who just recorded the record for a franchise record in passing yards. You know, he's never played with a quarterback this good at this stage of his career. In the past, he's been with guys like Mason Rudolph. So what do we know that George Pickens can actually do? So I still like chasing George Pickens' ceiling at 7K. That naturally leads me to click Lamb and Pickens. And thus, if you told me one quarterback on the entire slate, you only gave me one that passed 300 yards, got the bonus on DraftKings, I do think Dak Prescott's my pick personally. So I just naturally go to Cowboys double stacks here and think that's the way to play this game. With Rice and Kelce coming back.
That starts to get pricey, but yeah, I mean, it does sound good.
But again, we haven't got to the salary savers on this slate because they're all in the Ravens-Bengals game.
Yeah, we'll talk about that game in a second as well. Also, the top 2 raw point plays at tight end are in this game as well. You mentioned Kelce and Ferguson. Raw points, not necessarily point per dollar. Hribar, do you have a clear and distinct favorite amongst Lamb and Pickens? They're essentially the same price, or is it just like, throwing darts?
Yeah, the Cowboys are going to be without Tyler Guyton in this game. So we haven't really seen, him off the field too. Dak, if Dak's going to have success, it's going to be in the play action game. I mean, he's 4th in rate of play action. The Chiefs are 31st in yards per pass attempt against play action passing, and then 1st in non-play action passings. They've allowed 5.8 yards per pass attempt on plays without play action. That held true again on Sunday. Daniel Jones averaged 8.5 yards per pass attempt when he used play action, 3.6 yards per pass attempt on just the static dropbacks without play action. So if they're going to have success, especially to slow down the pass rush, missing Guyton, it's going to have to be, heavily incorporating that play action passing game. And that's where, Spags likes to play a little bit of aggressive defense as well. Maybe you can get him in there. I do slightly prefer Lamb for a couple of reasons. And it's really kind of just the matchup stuff, right? Like it's, the Chiefs are, even though they blitz a lot and they are aggressive, they do play 2 high safeties at one of the highest rates in the NFL. And it has been a little bit more of a signal for Lamb this season. He has a 27% first read target share against 2 high looks, 38% of the air yards, 2.28 yards per out run. Pickens is at 1.7 yards per out run, 26% of the air yards. I mean, it's just picking and choosing. The Chiefs are another team, though, like we talk about the Packers, they have not given up the bag to a wide receiver this season. They've allowed one wide receiver one scoring week since week 1, and that was Jamison Williams. Only had 6 for 66 and a touchdown.
Wow.
Like they're not allowing big games. They haven't allowed a 100-yard receiver this season. So it becomes an interesting spot here too. Like this is another game that like could be potentially muted because you have the Chiefs coming on the short week, the overtime game. You've got offensive linemen missing in this game on both sides. We've got maybe an improved defense on one side, a defense that we know is good on the other. This is another game too that has potential. Like this is I think like a game that is one way or the other though. Like you load this game up, or you think it goes under
for sure.
But I do think Mahomes is probably the guy that like you just count, like, 'cause the Chiefs are going to throw regardless. Like the Chiefs are going to probably have a 70% pass rate and they're going to wing it around. That's what makes them kind of like the most appealing of the two. But I have no problem kind of stacking this game up. It feels like Ferguson is the guy that's going to be the most under-owned on the slate in terms of like guys that are probably okay to good plays. But that's probably a question mark of him too, because since Lamb returned, he's the tight end 17 in target rate, and he's averaging less than a yard per out run. So it's like, what kind of ceiling do you have with Ferguson if he doesn't get multiple touchdowns? But he could have multiple touchdowns because we've seen it before this season.
It's also, this is not analytical talk, and that's why we're here. I understand that. But like the Cowboys just improved their playoff odds to 20%. Like they're going for it. This is what the team has to do. They were a negative game script, but they got to all understand that Dak is a legitimate MVP candidate or a comeback of the year candidate, at least if they make the playoffs, because like the whole entire offense runs through him. So I don't know. I still love Dak double stacks here in this game.
We currently have Ferguson, to Rich's point about his ownership, 9%. So, I mean, the stats don't necessarily say to do it, but he's done it in the past more so when other players are out as far as getting in the box. But that is a pretty low number. Maybe the Sims like him. I've not run any Sims on it, but
I want to note on the other side of Jake Ferguson, Travis Kelce is interesting. I said it, but I should have added context to it that the Cowboys, even with Quinn and Williams the past couple of weeks, getting extra linebackers as well, have still run 90% of their snaps from zone coverage the past couple of games after their bye. And Travis Kelce this year is 6th in yards per catch, 6th in yards per route run against zone coverage. The Chiefs are also in fight or flight mode in that they have to win every game to make the playoffs, basically. So there's no longer Travis Kelce sitting in the regular season. He has to be out there. And the way naturally that Kelce runs his routes with Mahomes, we all know, like John Cena, because everything goes back to wrestling, they call it on the spot. It's like you're out there, you see a window, you go to this window. So I think Kelce's a really good play as well.
Cena's
Noah
Gray.
Noah Gray's out. He ran 91% of the dropbacks because Gray was out last week. Season, he's been right around. That's like a 10% bump for him. He's been right around like 80% all year. So you get like a full-time Travis Kelce too.
Also, side note for everyone listening, if the Cowboys somehow make the playoffs, I would like to note how much Schottenheimer has dealt with this year, including Micah Parsons being traded from under his nose, the death of a player, and then also the injury to CeeDee Lamb all season. No defense as well for basically 2 months. Like, if the Cowboys make the playoffs, Schottenheimer's the coach of the year.
It's weird. It's such a short season. It's such a sprint, but also like the roller coaster Dallas has been on.
Windows. It's like fantasy football. Everything happens in windows. We just have to understand when those windows happen.
Who's betting on Dallas? Are you taking Dallas straight up?
John?
Isn't Dallas going to win straight up?
You sound like you're in on them. You don't need the points.
Change my pick'em league to Dallas straight up because you guys convinced me.
Here's the thing, though. If you even look at the box scores, you don't even need to tell me. God, I should have drank some Malort. You don't need me to tell you the scores that happened the first 2 months of the season. The fact that the Cowboys games are roller coasters and they always went opposite directions. So it makes anyone who's watched every snap of these games like understand the Cowboys, as past years, are a very volatile team. I don't think that's going to happen here, but yeah, don't the Cowboys beat the Chiefs, Rich? Literally.
I mean,
Chiefs?
I don't know, because 2 weeks ago they lost to Jacoby Brissett at home.
That's true.
So.
Isn't the Jacoby Brissett offense
good?
Isn't Jacoby Brissett offense top 10 in the league though?
He's good.
No, it's not.
I think it is.
Oh,
Jacoby Brissett has been complete terrible the past 3 weeks, but they throw 50 passes per game.
Tell him.
This might be the most viewed game of the year, Rich.
I think it's gonna be a massively watched game.
But aren't these like two of the most hated teams? Like, who is America rooting for? Because the Dallas is well disliked.
Do people really even care about the Cowboys to that degree anymore? Like,
I don't know. I don't really get into that kind of stuff, but I feel like there's a lot of, as far as divisive teams in the NFL, I think Dallas is one of the most divisive. A lot of people dislike Dallas for whatever reason.
Fair. I mean, I guess just because it's the logo and Jerry Jones, but like Dallas has been like, they haven't been like a threat to like anything in so long. I don't feel like what
like the Knicks, like kind of like the Knicks.
Yeah.
They are in the in-season Hard Knocks though. That starts this week. The NFC East is.
Oh, I didn't see that. I didn't know that.
Yeah. And by the way, like the NFC East, Jameis, the Eagles' problems, like the Cowboys' issues, like that's gonna be a fun Hard Knocks.
Rich, this is also the two teams that the refs cheat for, right? We need your the guy.
Oh, get out of here! I can't.
Joe Gibbs to tell us, right? Joe, what
you need Joe.
On Twitter, I suppose, but people think Kansas City. By the way, nobody wants to talk about it because it doesn't go with the narrative. They had a touchdown taken off the board last week, which was probably kind of important at the time. I don't think they're winning
because they're boring to watch. The refs are so offended now that they're just taking touchdowns away from them.
Okay, are we done? Well, you're running 20 teams, Rich. Are we considering any of this like Hollywood or Schuster or Worthy's just like not happening? Do any of these guys crack it, or it's basically Mahomes, Rice, Kelsey, and move along?
No, I think guys like Worthy, like if there would ever be a game for Worthy to be good, like it would be this one, right? I mean, Dallas is still allowing the most fantasy points to wide receivers. They're 31st in yards per target, highest touchdown rate, and they are still bad against the deep ball. They've had the highest rate of completions to wide receivers and throws 20 or more yards downfield, the most receptions on those throws. Like him and Mahomes just don't have like the cohesion, like they don't have the timing. Like it's going back to last year, like their deep balls, like just they haven't cashed many in. This would be a spot you could say it. And like if you want to throw the punt play, like Daigle brought him up on Tyquan Thornton, like if you're looking for a guy at 3K to come in, like he came in last week and had a 43 air yard target. Like at min, like he's the guy, like if he does anything, because he could be just a stone zero as well.
Easily.
But if he does anything, he's gonna come out and catch a 40-yard pass plus. So like if you get a touchdown out of him at 3K, because everyone's gonna on DraftKings that is gonna be punting largely with probably
10.
Well, if they're doing it with a double, it's probably gonna be the Gesicki likely with Mark Andrews. Like the double tight end stuff. So not a lot of people are going to be playing like the super pay down wide receivers. Even Tinsley's not going to be like really that owned either. But Thornton, if he does anything, it's going to come in and catch one long pass.
The week prior, Thornton also had a 61-yard target. So like he knows the assignment. Thornton comes in for a 40-yard bomb, and that could easily outscore the Tinsleys, the Flanoys, the Hopkins, everyone's trying to play.
That's the prayer yards, right? Not my bit, but that's prayer yards, right?
I don't even know if that's prayer yards because Thornton's. I mean, when he stepped in earlier without Rashee Rice, he was really good. He led them in.
And you don't have to play him with Mahomes either. He can just be a one-off dude.
He can be on the other side of Dak stacks.
Like Worthy, you want to play with Mahomes. Like you don't want him to be kind of an isolated play because if Worthy goes off, that means Mahomes is probably going off.
I'll make 2 flag plants since everyone else is dancing around it. I'll put everything on the line here for my reputation. I really love Cowboys doubles. I love Pickens and Lamb with Dak.
I thought you were going to say something bold, like hold
on. And I love the Cowboys defense. I think they get to Mahomes, and Mahomes has been miserable under pressure this year. I just think it's a game they win. It's a great spot for them.
Yeah. You still have some ties. I assume you talk to some friends maybe that are Cowboy fans. Are they into this team?
No, not really.
No.
But I love Dak though. Dak is so good. He's literally a reincarnated Tony Romo, or he's living the same kind of career where he's underappreciated, even though he's the highest paid quarterback in the league, and he's underrespected.
He is underappreciated. I would agree with that.
He's great. Rich, stop laughing. He's great.
I love Dak. I just say like this team was down 21-0 in the first quarter last week. Like
and then they got good because they leaned on Dak.
if the Eagles do anything, they don't win that game. So,
don't watch the Friday game. The Friday game is going to be horrible.
Is it Philadelphia, Chicago? It's not going to be fun,
bro. The Bears have a negative 3-point differential. Like
they're frauds, right?
Yeah, of course.
I don't know if they're frauds. Like they're ahead of schedule. I think that they're outperforming kind of the initial expectations. But like,
you're right.
The Bears have been.
I forget they're getting Kyler Gordon and Jalen Johnson back too on Friday, so I forget about that part.
I feel like if you're a Bears fan, you should be like, you have all the reason in the world to be excited about. Like, I feel like they're ahead of schedule.
Oh yeah, that's not Silva's play of the year, by the way. I have Silva's play of the year when we get the positional plays, and I'll tell you about it.
Okay, friend of the show, Silva. There.
Horizontal tees.
Is he going to be upset if you reveal the play of the year here? I want to hear it.
It's not so much a DFS play, but I know what direction he's going. But I do know the bet of the year according to Silva, and I'll give that away in positional plays. Don't stop breathing because it's not that good, but I have it for you. For sure.
It's playing Dak doubles.
That's the Daigle. That's the Daigle play here.
Bengals, Ravens, 51.5, the nightcap. We're getting Joe Burrow back in our lives here in this game. The Bengals are 7-point dogs in this game in Baltimore. Kyle Hamilton is off the injury report. Bateman expected to play. They kept giving Lamar Jackson different body parts, but now he's got no body parts on the injury report. I guess he's clean. So says the injury report, at least. Justice Hill is out, and Daigle, you kind of alluded to it. Maybe it's Keaton. Keaton Mitchell season. You're talking about some potential cheapies. You sound very excited about playing Mitchell Tinsley as a cheapie. So I'll let you start. Bengals, Ravens.
Yeah, I mean, just as a DFS play, we talk about as much as I love Christian Watson at 4,700 on DraftKings. Again, a couple weeks ago, I'm not going to reiterate everything here, but Reeves listed off what the Bengals are allowing to opposing running backs. It didn't happen last week because the Patriots lost 2 starting offensive linemen mid-game, and they couldn't be efficient. But Travion Henderson was still a fine play. But now we get one of the most efficient running games in the entire league that have quite literally the highest team total in any team in week 13, not just the Thanksgiving slate, 29 points for the Ravens against the Bengals, who have the lowest team total on Thanksgiving at least. So at 4,500, at basically stone minimum, of course, Keaton Mitchell, whether you play him outside of Derrick Henry, with Derrick Henry, I think he's one of the best plays on the entire slate, especially with Justice Hill out. Lamar Jackson is more of a convoluted conversation just because of quite literally how poor he's been the last 3 games outside of that 4-touchdown performance against the Dolphins. 1 touchdown the last 3 weeks compared to 2 interceptions, 6.8 yards per attempt, only 57 yards rushing total across 3 games. It's been bad, but we've said this about many quarterbacks this year against Cincinnati, and we'll still play them. So I'm still very open to playing Lamar. Assuming it comes with reduced ownership, I'm not sure yet. It's going to come down to tomorrow morning when I'm building lineups because I don't know if he's going to naturally collect more ownership across the day. But I'm very open to playing 4 to 5 Ravens because I do think regardless of what happens on the volatile Cincinnati side with Joe Burrow coming back, I'm very interested in the Ravens team total and them getting there no matter what.
Our current projections, we have Mahomes at 30% on FanDuel, Lamar at 23%, DK very similar, Mahomes at 36%, and Lamar at 21%. And they're very clearly the 1-2.
And objectively, again, Lamar's the worst play, but in tournaments objectively, I'm willing to take that L and just try to soak up the ceiling with him personally.
I just think it's a much easier fade if it wasn't the Bengals. That's the part.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's the point of tournaments, right?
That's the hook.
Doing. That was Jameis Winston last week where Rich and I were both objectively, that's the whole thing about DFS is playing the matchups. 2 weeks ago, we both say Jameis Winston is objectively a terrible play. Last week, we didn't get to talk about it on Wednesday, but by Friday, Jameis Winston, since he's starting in place of Jackson Dart, is objectively a great play in order to pay up for the Lions coming back on the other side. That's just DFS. So I agree. I wish it was a worse matchup, but because of the ownership and the matchup, I think Lamar's a great tournament play to just suck it up and close your eyes and not watch the game and hope for the best.
Rich, just as a dude in the couch, do you think Lamar Jackson is 100% healthy?
I mean, it's hard to believe it. He even tried to run. His scramble rate was actually okay last week, but he didn't look like he had any juice. when he did get out. He said he scrambled on 17% of his dropbacks. That's actually a season high even before he got hurt. But only 13 yards on those plays. I mean, like whether it be a knee, a toe, an ankle, a hamstring, something definitely looks off with him. But you have the Ravens are at home with nearly a 30-point team total against the worst defense. Not in the worst even. I think it was Aaron Schatz had the tweet like if per DVOA at this point of the season, this is the worst defense ever. Like in terms of at this point of the season, like through 11 games, like this is it's crazy. Right now they have the worst rate from an EPA stance. They're the worst defense since the 2005 Texans at this point of the season. So
is that an expansion team? I don't remember when the Texans came.
No, that was 02, right? They were 02.
Okay. Yeah, I think they beat the Cowboys on opening Sunday Night Football. Yeah.
Yeah, I think 02 is when they came back, and that was to get us the 32 teams. So like you said, it is a hard fade because we're taught to take these spots, right? Home team, huge team total against the bad. Like we're just taught hey, this is where you play the dudes. Like this is where you go. And the Bengals are 30th in passing points allowed. Like it's just a bad defense. Like Trey Hendricks isn't there. Like so I think he's a tough fade as well, but. He's definitely. I don't think he's right either, though. But you might not need to be right.
Yeah, and also you can correlate this uniquely, and that Derrick Henry individual is a good play. Derrick Henry with Keaton Mitchell is a good play. Lamar Jackson with both running backs is a good play. In case you get like a 60-yard screenplay on a short slate, you can play this a lot of ways to just play against the Bengals logically.
I heard no Zay Flowers. Is he just a terrible tournament play every single week? Is that just kind of where he's at?
I feel like Rich talks about it every week, so he's the one to talk about it.
Rich talks about it every single week, and not to make this about me, but he was on my best lineup last week, and I could have used anything more out of Zay. Immune to the end zone, unfortunately. I should have known better. He's the anti-Devontae Adams. Just does not get the looks there when we get the hit the red zone. Is Zay a terrible play?
If you could make him and Mark Andrews one player, they'd be unstoppable. Zay Flowers is the wide receiver 4 in target share outside of the red zone. And then it's a 16% target share. He's one end zone target this season. Now, I have chased that second touchdown a couple times myself. And I feel like on a Thanksgiving slate with only 3 teams, I would have some ultimate FOMO if he scored it on this slate. So I did add him. But also, we talk about this all the time, too. The Bengals, the only thing that they don't do is give up points to wide receivers.
Yeah.
Wide receivers have scored 33% of the fantasy points allowed by Cincinnati. It's the lowest rate in the league. They're allowing 10.5 PPR points per game to wide receiver ones. That's second in the league. They've allowed 100-yard receiver. They've allowed 6 touchdowns to the wide receivers. DJ Turner has allowed a 46% catch rate in coverage this season. The only cornerback that's allowed a lower rate is Quinyon Mitchell. They just don't give up the bag. And this is a team that if this game plays out accordingly, how many pass attempts do the Ravens really have? And that's always the other bugaboo with, say, Flowers when you talk about target share is that if they throw 24 passes, what is a 30% target share, right? Like, so you might have a guy in the slate, like in the Chiefs game or Cowboys game, have a way lower target share, but get more raw targets than a guy like Zay Flowers too. But
they don't
give up. I'm going to play him because I don't want to miss out on the second touchdown whenever it happens.
Well, it's been since week 1. He's not scored a touchdown in 3 months.
He's a very good football player, though. It actually frustrates me that they don't use him in the red zone because he's a guy that creates separation on his own. And like you get double moves, stuff from inside release. Like, why aren't we doing these things with Zay Flowers? But it's all Mark Andrews when they get to the red zone, and then you have the layer on the stuff with the Bengals, obviously too. But outside of the red zone, it's the inverse. Mark Andrews has 15.3% of the team's targets in his games. And then in the red zone, 27% target share, 33% end zone target share.
Do you like Likely as a pivot off of Andrews?
No.
Oh, okay.
And it's because
if you go back to last year in week 1, like this dude hasn't done anything. He has more than 2 receptions in 1 game. He's averaging less than a yard per route run. Like, I'm not going to yuck anyone's yum on a punt. Like
13 catches in the season, to your point. Yeah.
Like go back to last year. His only stretch that was good outside of week 1 last year is when Andrews missed that section of game at the end and when Flowers missed. Like,
yeah,
he's done absolutely nothing since that Chiefs game.
Daigle, is Mike Gesicki good chalk?
Yeah, I mean, I don't even care what the Ravens' passing defense has been since they come back at full strength post-bye from week 8 on. And don't get me wrong, they've been amazing. They're 9th in yards per attempt, 6th in EPA per drop back in that time. But honestly, the best quarterback they played, for whatever it's worth, is Caleb Williams also in that span. Having said that, whenever we get this kind of discount, especially on a short slate, I just like to think back to last year, the splits we have, and just go with it. We have Joe Burrow coming back. We have the evidence that without T. Higgins last year, Mike Gesicki earned a 19.6% target share. He averaged 62 yards per game and 14 fantasy points. You just suck it up at 3,100, at least on DraftKings, and play it. I don't even care about chalk because, in my opinion, the way people get unique and win tournaments on this slate is who they spend up for, since everyone comes out with a similar projection, but how you play it is going to determine whether you win or not. So I'm gonna take the discounts, what I believe the good discounts are, where they're at. That includes Mike Gesicki, and as the chat mentions, please extrapolate on Keaton Mitchell as well. Again, it's just about what the Bengals are allowing to opposing backfields. The last time without Justice Hill, we got Keaton Mitchell a couple games ago at least, get 6 carries, 3 targets. And against this front 7, 6 carries and 3 targets for a guy like Keaton Mitchell who's averaging over 6 yards per touch this year, that could easily outscore the other guys everyone else is paying down for. All the cheap receivers I mentioned, including Tinsley. So I like both of those guys, Mitchell and Gesicki, and then building around them.
Gesicki, probably the most popular tight end on FanDuel. A little less popular.
I don't think I care, honestly.
Personally. Say it again?
I don't think I care personally. I think he's one of those guys. I know optimizers, for instance, forced you to lock someone in and then like it'll push players around it. Gesicki's a guy I just keep locking in. I don't care because we live for this situation. Gesicki averaged less than 5 fantasy points whenever he played with Jamar Chase and T. Higgins last year in every other situation. And then when T. Higgins got out, they used him in the slot more, and he became their number 2 wide receiver on a short slate at 3,100. Even if he's wrong, I feel like I can lose. I feel like I can win tournaments if he scores 7-8 fantasy points, and I'll just take that on.
Rich, you have a Gesicki take, and then there's the Bengals overall. Burrow back. Pirine back. I think I can muck up Brown to some degree. How much does he eat away as far as
the Bengals are
hard. Rich, Bengals. Feel free to rebut or elaborate or agree as far as Gesicki and the return of Joe Burrow. What do you got?
Yeah, and I understand wanting him to pay that salary at FanDuel, but I actually think he's a better play on DraftKings than FanDuel because he is more of like that full PPR guy. One of the games that he actually played without Higgins was against the Ravens last year, and he wasn't good in that game. He only had 30 yards, but he did have 9 targets. Like if I told you a $3,100 player was going to have 9 targets, like you would just play him on principle, wouldn't you? Yeah, exactly. It wouldn't matter. Like, so I think he's actually a better play on DraftKings than he is on FanDuel because of the PPR stuff. So I don't have any problem with that. Like he's a wide receiver anyways, even when he came back last week. He didn't play in line. He ran around on 68% of the dropbacks. Only 7% were in line, 74% in the slot, 18.5% at wide receiver out wide. So, we can't even really treat him like a tight end either. It would have been cool if Kyle Hamilton didn't practice in full today. That would have made this game a lot more fun, but he practiced in full and he's going to be back. The Pirine inclusion is a real wild card because in the 3 games without Samaj Pirine, the past 3 weeks, we had Chase Brown back to like last year, Chase Brown, like where he was just on the field every snap and had every touch. In the last 4 games that Pirine was active, Brown only had 71%, 58%, 65%, and 60% of the backfield touches and wasn't playing on passing downs because the last 3 weeks he ran a pass route on 86%, 83%, and 76% of the dropbacks. But through weeks 1 through 8 with Pirine available, he only ran a route on 49.4% of the dropbacks. And where you want Chase Brown is like catching the football. I know he actually did have an efficient rushing game last week, but like we want him catching passes because we don't really believe in this Bengals offensive line big picture that they're going to line up and really run the football efficiently. And Chase Brown really hasn't been an efficient runner to the course of his career, even going back to college. He's been more of a volume-based guy. So we do need those catches for him, especially. So he's an extremely volatile play now with Pirine coming back. And it's a road dog with a 22-point team total. Like, it's the inverse of what we talked about with the Ravens. Like, we're taught to kind of be skeptical of these situations.
Yeah, for sure. And who knows what we're going to get from Burrow? Are we just assuming he's fine and healthy and good to go? I don't know.
No, and I did a study. I meant to pull it back up because I brought it up with Crane and we thought he might play last week. I did a study on RotoWorld years ago about quarterbacks that miss multiple weeks and like how they typically underperform their first game back. Because the position is like just a extremely hard position to play inherently. So like when you're rusty and like you haven't played live football, because you play in the preseason stuff, like all he's had is practice reps. Like he hasn't had live game action since week 2. Like we can't expect him to just be Joe Burrow. Now on a 3-game slate, and we expect him to have to throw, like we're going to play some Joe Burrow, but
sure.
I say my top-down expectation is like we should expect some rust and some potential volatility here.
Yeah, that's kind of the angle I'm coming at it from it too, because like last year, if you zoom out against Mike McDonald's defense, and this is, remember, this is a Ravens defense coming back at full strength post-bye. As I mentioned earlier, Burrow still tagged them because at full health, Joe Burrow is one of the best quarterbacks in the entire league. 8.5 yards per attempt. He scored 9 touchdowns compared to 1 interception through the air. Like he has their card, but having not practiced, having not been at full health is all. We don't know his mobility. We know that they have the lowest team total, as I mentioned earlier, on this entire slate. I'm going to be underweight Burrow, even though I understand the tournament view of it, and that whether you play up for Jamar Chase or not, at least the secondary options, Andre Yoshibas, Mitchell Tinsley, and Mike Gesicki, they're all cheap. So if you want to get there just to make a cheap quad stack in a short slate, I totally get it. But I'm going to personally be underweight Burrow because I don't think I trust him and this offense compared to how much I trust the Ravens putting up points.
Rich, where do you have Chase versus Amon-Ra versus Rice versus Lamb?
Yeah, I would have him pretty neck and neck with Rashee Rice. I definitely want to have builds where I get both of those guys in the same lineup because of the target potential for all those guys. And like I said, I'm playing a little bit Amon-Ra, but I think compared to where his projection is right now, I think I'm coming under that for the reasons we talked about. Like, definitely not going to leave him completely off the table. It's more of a softer fade than it would be because on a 3-game slate, he's tough to leave off. Especially with all the injuries they have, like the ball has to find him at some point. But I definitely like Chase and Rice the most, Rice and Chase in that order, just because of the target potential here for Chase, right? Like this is a game, I don't think they're going to run the football tremendously well. They're road dogs. Chase had a bye and a suspension and still leads the NFL in targets.
Wow.
He's got 117 targets already on the year. He still is 4th in receptions. Like we could easily have a game where he's getting 12 to 15 targets. Like that exists in the range of outcomes. He absolutely smoked the Ravens both times they played him. Like obviously those are games where like Burrow practiced but one of those was without Higgins as well. So you have that on the table. So I'm still into him. And the Ravens, even though their defense has gotten better, we've seen even since the post-bye, we've seen some wide receiver ones have some pretty good games against them. Roma Dunze went for over 100 yards. Jalen Waddle had 6 for 82, and he had a 40-yard catch called back in that game. They're still a little bit vulnerable on the boundaries too. So I think just from a pure projection stance in terms of targets, Jamar Chase is still a priority for me here.
Daigle, anything else as far as Bengals, Ravens?
No, I think that's about it. I think your values are going to come from this game, which also makes it fun because this is the second late swap game. And so whoever you play expensive before this, just remember you have other options around here. So like I said, I love Keaton Mitchell. I love Mike Gesicki, but you also have to understand you need a late swap off those guys because like Gesicki and Tinsley are going to come in high ownership.
Yeah, I mean, if you're chasing points coming into this slate, the most fun thing about the Thanksgiving slate, because I've seen people bring up, it's like, well, you could play a 3-game slate every afternoon, right? Like the afternoon slate on every Sunday. But it's the dynamics of the Thanksgiving slate where the ebb and flow, where you have a game at 1, a game at 4, and a game at 8, and you can adjust lineups throughout the day. Like if you're chasing points, like Daigle said, and you're sitting on Mike Gesicki, Mark Andrews, right? Like that's when you have to play Likely. That's when you're gonna have to play Rashad Bateman, right? Like this is when you're gonna have to play some of these dudes, because it's the only way those lineups are gonna have a prayer is coming off of some of these guys that are gonna be really high owned in this game.
Do want to do a little bit of a recap as far as the Thursday, 3-gamer for Thanksgiving. Also want to mention, you'll see this in the YouTube. Sign up with the link for a Black Friday sale here for RotoGrinders. Users will receive the RotoGrinders Combo Pro plan for the price of a single sport for their first 3 months. That's $74.99. I believe it's a savings of $135 if you include all 3 of those months. After that, after the 3 months, it will now renew for the regular price unless you cancel. Offer is valid through 12/2 through December 2nd. Now, one sport, you're getting the price for one sport for all the sports: football, baseball, basketball, college football, NBA, NHL, MMA, PGA, LOL. I probably missed something there, but yeah, everything but NASCAR. NASCAR happens to be a la carte. All right, so I want to get a summary of these 3 games, boys. Rich, let me ask you first. Favorite play in Green Bay, Detroit is who?
Chalk Gibbs.
Yeah. All right, fair enough. Daigle, who is your favorite play in the Green Bay Detroit game? Single player.
Well, why are you forcing me to pick one game? Jahmyr Gibbs.
Yeah.
And I wonder, I don't think it will happen. Is Christian Watson going to get lost again?
No, he's going to be super popular.
He's going to be played.
I'm going to play it. I don't think
he's going to be immensely popular.
Okay, good. I don't think I care. Again,
no, but I'm just saying he's 4.7.
Yeah,
like he's gonna get played a lot.
Oh no, I understand. But yeah, mid 4Ks, we just don't get that kind of usage at all at mid 4Ks. So it's like, again, like Gesicki, it's just a situation where I'm gonna get unique elsewhere. I don't care.
Daigle, your favorite play, Kansas City, Dallas.
Yeah, I like Dak double stacks. Like I said, it. I wish I could explain it better with context. But
you did good. You did all right.
Yeah, we get it.
I appreciate y'all. Y'all love me. But I think it's also a good situation to, even if you don't get to Travis Kelce or you want to isolate Travis Kelce, you can play Dak doubles and run back Rashee Rice, like with Patrick Mahomes. Basically, the idea that he only targets Rashee Rice, and I'm fine with that because Rashee Rice gets double-digit targets. So, yeah, I like Dak doubles with Rashee Rice coming back.
Shout out friend of the show, Travis Mangone, in the live chat.
That's next week, by the way, not this week.
It's every day that your birthday, Daigle. We celebrate your birthday every single. It's like
it is. But to be fair, it is right around the corner this time.
It is literally next Friday, but yeah. also, it's disgusting that Mangone remembers every year. He has to have a calendar set. I don't know how. Only him and Rich and my mom remember that. No one else.
He just got lucky. That's all. That was just him saying hello, basically. I think he just threw a dart. Hribar, your favorite play in Kansas City, Dallas?
Well, not just to just come off the chalk, because I do think it's the Rashee Rice. I would say I like I think like playing just like Mahomes triples are the way. Like whether that be Kelce, Worthy, or Thornton. Like I think the Chiefs with Kareem Hunt's workload, and I don't know if you guys saw the picture of Isaiah Pacheco's brace that he's wearing. Like I think this is going to be. I think the Chiefs are going to have.
Is it the concussion helmet?
I think they're gonna on his knee, yeah. It's the Romeo Dobbs of knees.
Yeah, that'd be great.
But I think the Chiefs are gonna have. I think they could flirt with like a 70 to 80% drop back rate in this game.
Do the Packers, as like a collective, have more receivers with the concussion helmet than every other receiver combined in the league? Is it close? I feel like don't they have 2 or 3 guys that have it? And nobody else seems to have it as far as the receiver, unless I'm missing somebody. I'm sure somebody.
I think social media has just taught us that Romeo Dobbs wears it a lot. That's
and
David A-Chan as well.
Dobbs feels like ludicrous though. It feels like double the size of everyone else's. Like he's got one underneath it.
When you watch A-Chan play live, I don't know. Yeah. He's literally Toad. He looks like Toad running around.
I picture Lord Helmet from Spaceballs is what I'm picturing. I don't know, but all right.
Yeah.
Dean, do you remember Steve Wallace from the 49ers that used to wear the cap on his helmet? He was an offensive lineman, but he had like a shell that he wore over his. It was like a helmet on top of a helmet. This is like way before like all this stuff.
I just remember I remember the guys that it was like the neck guard. What happened to the neck guard? Like the horseshoe? Remember the guys that wore the
fullback stopped happening, dude.
What's not happening?
Fullback.
Mike Allstott.
Is that what it is? It was very much a fullback. That was a part of the fullback uniform. That's a good point. Yeah.
Fullback stopped happening. That's where
somebody's got to rock the. We got to.
We don't have Lorenzo Neal crashing into dudes anymore.
but don't we wish we did?
I wish we did.
Bengals, Ravens. Rich, your favorite play in Cincinnati, Baltimore?
Ooh. Favorite play. Again, I feel like it's just chalk, guys, because I feel like it's just like don't overthink it. Just play Jamar Chase. Who would be I mean, did we even really talk about Derrick Henry? I guess we did.
You mentioned him
maybe not in detail.
What do we have?
I mean, is it not the most obvious thing just to play Jahmyr Gibbs and Derrick Henry? Like,
yeah, it's pretty obvious.
Like, why do we need to get cute with anything else? Especially in your single entry stuff.
Dude, I'm playing.
Go ahead, Daigle.
Dean hasn't asked me the question yet, Reeves, but I'm playing Keaton Mitchell in single entry.
I know you are.
I'm gonna have 100% Keaton Mitchell
in large field or small field.
No, both. I'm gonna have 100% Keaton Mitchell. I can guarantee you.
And you'll pair him with Henry.
Yeah, absolutely, because I think it's unique, and I think both get there.
Baltimore defense as well. You throw a defense there just for fun.
The thing is, Baltimore's defense is expensive, and again, it's a tight.
Also, while we're on that subject, since this slate is so good in terms of projected point totals, quarterbacks, and everything, and I know this is not going to happen. Something stupid's going to happen, but is this just you just play the Bengals and say all the defenses are going to suck?
Huh. Well, you guys are telling me that Detroit, Green Bay is going to be an under. You're also telling me, Rich, that
the other thing too is that Love doesn't take sacks. Like, so like, do you even get a lot of turnovers? Like,
I personally think the Cowboys at 2,400 is totally fine. Like,
yeah. But I mean, we're gonna
the cheap defense is the emphasis.
We're mixing all of them in. Are we gonna get the double dip? Is there a Cavante Turpin return? Who else? Who's options on the slate for the double bubble? Charlie Jones.
That is not an option. I mean, it is an option, but it's not.
I don't know the kick returners. I feel like I should know this. Devontae Walker, is he a kick returner for Baltimore? I'm making that up, but I don't know if that's right or not.
I like where your head's at, but I think you're making it
is the one.
Rich, you were saying that Kansas City's not going to run the ball, so why not just take your chances with like 40 dropbacks or whatever it is?
And try to get stuff. I mean, Trey Smith being out is big. I mean, Quinnen Williams the last 2 weeks is second in the NFL in pressures. It's
fun.
Best.
None of these defenses project good on my end.
Yeah.
Though. Like that's why I said, like, is it I don't want you to start building your defense and get hung up on saying I don't have the lineup I want because the defense, just who gives a shit, right? Like if you're
and I don't mean to attach my name to Keaton Mitchell, but
you already did.
The argument is Keaton Mitchell on 8+ touches against the Bengals defense can outscore 17+ touches from Javonte Williams and Josh Jacobs and David Montgomery. That is my argument at $3K less salary.
Rich, your biggest fade. I guess it's Amon-Ra, right? If you're going to pick somebody. Now, obviously, you're not saying you don't like it. Is Amon-Ra your biggest fade?
Out of the like really the guys that are like actually tracking for ownership, he's the guy I am like inherently like setting to come under on.
Daigle,
and I will be, and if I lose at 1, we'll be adjusting.
Yeah, there you go. You got to get away from whatever people are playing in the next 2 games, and now all of a sudden you're playing. I don't know.
Well, to be fair, if they played Amon-Ra, then that means they probably didn't play one of the other 2 dudes. But
Daigle, your biggest fade on the slate?
My boldest call is that the Bengals tank entirely. Is that it's such a volatile situation. Not saying that's going to happen, but for tournaments at least, I do think you can build the storyline that the Bengals are just bad and that Joe Burrow shouldn't be playing at all. And so Yeah, I like the Ravens to dunk on the Bengals entirely, which means I will definitely be underweight Burrow. I'll probably be, when you compare him, though, to Rashee Rice, underweight Jamar Chase as well, because I think the environment and situation for Rice is better.
We gave the people an hour and 15 minutes on Thanksgiving. TJ, maybe if we can give a timestamp, that might be helpful for those that might want to listen on a Friday.
Yeah.
Because we're going to talk about the main slate here in a second. So we're about, an hour and 15 minutes in, about 75 minutes in for Thanksgiving. We're going to now pivot and talk about the main slate. Now we're just going to give our favorite plays position by position. And favorite, I feel like we're going to use the term loosely. Because unless you guys feel otherwise, this is the grossest 10-game slate. And maybe it's a hyperbole. I don't know. Maybe I'm being hyperbolic, but it's bad.
You want me to tell you how bad it is, Dean? I'll tell all the people how bad it is.
How bad is it?
I can't confirm this, but I am pretty sure when lineups lock on Sunday, Davis Mills is going to be the cash game quarterback.
He's not playing. He's not even starting.
He's not.
Is he out?
Stroud came back today.
Are you sure?
Yeah, he came back today. Yeah,
what? Does that mean he's starting?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you think Mills unseated? I know he's been good, but you think he unseated him? They just signed Stroud.
I don't know. They went 3-0. I don't know. All right. Well, never mind. I don't know anything about this slate.
Edit that from the tape.
But I respected that until you thought. Also, Marvin Harrison's back if you have another take.
Marvin, no, never mind. Michael Wilson is in my list, so ignore me.
Amongst the 10 games, by the way, San Fran at Cleveland currently 37.5. Rich, you're going to have to throw another football again. I don't know if you know this, potential weather in Cleveland. Roth has that at, this is Wednesday night, but he's got it at orange, straight orange. Decent chance for some rain plus some potent winds, 20 miles per hour, gust around 35. So, yeah, we want to see you throw a football in the wind on Sunday morning. But that's the only thing I'm seeing as far as weather right now. Nothing weather-wise on Thanksgiving for what it's worth. But, yeah, 37.5 total. We have Atlanta at the Jets, 39.5.
Oh, dude, that game.
I don't know what a max Brown
I actually do like Breece Hall in that game, though. So
I thought you were going to say Tyron.
Minnesota at Seattle, 41.5. Miami Saints, 41.5. Vegas Chargers, 41.5. It's bad. There's a lot of bad low total games, but let's do the best we can.
And last time that Purdy played here, and I say here because I'm actually 25 minutes west of the stadium. They played in the rain, and it was a terrible game as well. He was awful in that game.
We can't talk last week, can they?
Well, they lost that game to PJ Walker. So Jim Schwartz also, oddly enough, great track record against Kyle Shanahan's offenses. 6-1 against Shanahan as a head coach or coordinator. 3-0 since Shanahan's been in San Francisco. His quarterbacks have been pretty bad in all those games. Interesting kind of like little thing there. But I don't think anyone's playing many guys from that game, though. So
they're not.
Rich, give me your favorite quarterbacks. Josh Allen, the biggest projection, obviously, in Pittsburgh. Biggest total on the board. At last I saw 47.5. Next, by the way, is 44.5. Just a heads up as far as totals. This on the main slate, the 10 gamer, 7 early, 3 late. Who do we like at quarterback, Rich?
Yeah, I got some guys. Let's start with the MVP. Let's not overthink it. We've got a weak slate. Why not start with the guy that has 25 touchdowns and no interceptions? The Panthers will be without Trayvon Moehrig, who's suspended because he said he was swiping for the ball, not the ball. And J.C. Horn had a concussion on Monday night. And if you watch that game, J.C. Horn was objectively the best Carolina Panther player in that game. Mm-hmm. So, you're getting you don't want to be down your 2 secondary guys against the state of the Rams right now. So I think you start with Stafford if you can fit him. I got one wild card too, and I think there's a couple other ones. But how do you feel about Cam Ward on this slate? He's been, since the firing of Brian Callahan, has been respectable. I won't say good. He's been respectable. Before Brian Callahan was fired, Cam Ward was last in the NFL in completion rate. He was 32nd in yards per pass attempt, just 5.5 yards per pass attempt. He was 30th in yards, passing yards per game. He's gone up to 16th since that firing in passing yards per game. He's 16th in completion rate. He's still 24th in yards per pass attempt, but is a full yard higher. They started to just let him play. They've thrown the ball 5% and 2% over expectations the past 2 weeks. He scrambled on 8.5% of his dropbacks the past 2 games. And mind you, his last 2 games have come against the Texans and the Seahawks. There's 2 highest scoring games of the fantasy season. And not to give him a hall pass because he's been bad, but this is who Cam Ward has faced so far. The Broncos, the Rams, the Texans twice, the Colts twice, the Cardinals when they were good, the Patriots, the Chargers, and the Seahawks. He's faced 7 games against top 10 pass defenses. He's now at home against a team that's 26th in passing points allowed per game, the Jaguars, and they are a complete pass funnel. They are awesome against the run, and they face 38 pass attempts per game. They've allowed over 20 fantasy points to Davis Mills, John's cash game quarterback, and Geno Smith threw 4 passing touchdowns against them. 2025, Geno Smith threw 4 passing touchdowns against a team that happened. So it's a gross slate. So like Cam Ward actually kind of looks like we can build some stuff around him.
It's a good sales pitch. I got to be honest. I mean, you kind of have me leaning in. I was at first. I'm like, no, there's no way. But
I agree, but you're not allowed to make fun of Davis Mills whenever you mention Cam Ward. That's the only caveat.
I didn't say Cam Ward is going to be the cash game quarterback.
Davis Mills would have, though.
What do you got to go see Cam Ward and raise him?
Don't know if I can personally, but at least we know that Tyler Shuck has the 12th highest completion rate from a clean pocket this year. We know the Dolphins try to blitz. They don't get there. So I like Tyler Shuck. If you're spending down now that I have to scratch Davis Mills from my pool, but beyond both of those things, Matthew Stafford was as leverage off Calvin Williams was clearly on my list. He's probably, honestly, I probably nuked the slate and single entry. I'm going to play 2 or 3 wide receivers or players in general with Matthew Stafford is the best play. And then we talked about this last year. We've talked about this year. I wrote about it in matchups on Sunday Night Football. I'm sure Rich did too. The Bucs are just not the same team without Jamel Dean on the field.
He practiced today too.
Did he? Do we think he's going to come back on Sunday?
It sounds like it, but it's one to watch.
Baker Mayfield, without Baker Mayfield, it's literally like the biggest difference in football too, from Teddy Bridgewater to Baker Mayfield. But I'm still going to say Jacoby Brissett. The Cardinals have the highest pass rate over expectation of any team the last 2 weeks. Last week in general, they ran the 3rd highest rate of 3 wide receiver sets, which is why Greg Dortch keeps getting there the past 2 games. And so, yeah, I still think Jacoby Brissett, since the Cardinals, like a lot of teams right now, the Raiders included, can't run the ball, I think Brissett's still a fine play too, depending if Marvin Harrison Jr. plays, since we all want to play Michael Wilson.
What about Herbert? Can they block the Raiders, just blocking Crosby, I suppose, long enough to give Herbert a chance? And that line's an absolute mess. Is Herbert somebody we're considering, Rich?
I came out more bearish when I wrote up that game. In the games that Joe Alt has missed now, Justin Herbert's been the QB 23, 14.6 points, the QB 14, 18.8 points, the QB 17, 14.7 points, and then don't forget, because they had a bye. The last time we saw the Chargers, they had 135 total yards on offense. Justin Herbert had 3 fantasy points. He's now averaging 6.4 passing yards per attempt and 6.3 air yards per attempt on 256 dropbacks with Joe Alt off the field. With Alt on the field, 8.3 yards per pass attempt, 9.1 air yards per pass attempt. To circumvent them being able to block, like they've just gone to like a quick passing game. And like it's really kind of sapped out the juice of this game. Now it's the Raiders. It's a nondescript defense. Maybe you can get there, but I think he's more of like a floor play than I think he offers like tremendous ceiling at the current construct of the Chargers right now.
You said you had after your little off the reservation one with Cam Ward. You said it sounded like you had one more. Did you have one more in the holster? Is that it?
No, for QBs that was kind of it. I'll say just keep an eye on like Daigle brought up Shuck. Chris Olave left practice with a back injury today, which is like never like awesome. As someone who is has Olave on a Drake London team in the main event playoffs right now, like it feels pretty awesome. But
how many teams did you get into the playoffs, by the way?
Everyone but the one I did with Silva and those dudes. Everyone with that.
I got one left at a 4, and it's a heater with Josh Allen, Amon-Ra St. Brown, and Christian McCaffrey. I
have a team with Scotty and Elliot who you met.
Yeah, of course.
we're in the top 150 in the Gorilla right now in points.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. But we have CMC who obviously doesn't have a bye, but those points have been
But he's
stacking
not.
up. But
yeah, he's gonna have 70 yards. You got to hope for a couple touchdowns here.
Yeah, we've been running real pure, but we're like 300 points in our league. We're like 300 points ahead of everybody.
My playoff is against, go figure, Abib, Skywalker.
Oh, yep, yeah,
Skywalker, the multiple time champion himself. So I'm about to get drowned out.
You know who's projecting pretty well, which I don't like, and I try not to play ever. And he always projects well. Yes,
Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah,
I knew. Yeah,
hours of quarterbacks, right, Rich? Although he's not even good.
Yep. Yeah, I mean he's been scoring points. Since week 5, he's been the QB 14 or higher in 6 of his past 7 games, but he only has one top 6 scoring week. He's been so if you're cash gaming it, I think it's okay. But he hasn't had a super high ceiling, but it's a good matchup though too. He's been getting more fantasy points, I think, than people realize because his underlying stats are all bad. But he's scoring points.
It doesn't serve us a purpose, but it is funny to always lock into social media and then see people talk about Bo Nix and Trevor Lawrence and be like, are these guys not good? It's like, no, it's the Astrop meme. They've never been good, ever.
Yeah.
Daigle, I just ran a bunch of optimals on the Blitz. Shout out to Eric Hardy. And the quarterback coming in the most, CJ Stroud.
Transitive property.
The opposite of one. The point, but also the opposite. Yeah.
Some running backs. Who do we like at running back?
Yeah. Okay, let's start with Kenneth Walker. We'll just go back to him. Out-carried Kenneth Walker last week. We got the same coach speak last week. Also, not to mention that logically, I can just tell you that I believe Max Brosmer is going to start on the road in Seattle.
Yep.
And so guess what Seattle's going to do? They're probably going to run the ball a lot. And
what
so
is Max Brosmer?
That's a great question. I don't know what a Max Brosmer is.
Rich?
Yeah, he was like a pretty mediocre prospect from Minnesota, I believe is where he's from.
Yeah, undrafted.
Undrafted. He's not very good. Also, I mean, say playing in Seattle is objectively rough. Since 2000, rookie passers are 4-15 in Seattle. They've actually thrown more interceptions than touchdowns. Rookie quarterbacks against Mike McDonald are 1-7.
Yeah.
Good luck.
5 yards per pass attempt, 2 touchdowns, 6 interceptions in 8 games. So not a great spot to be making your first career start, and not a great spot if you're still hopeful for some catchable targets for Justin Jefferson.
Didn't mean to slow down your momentum, the Daigle there. Feel free to finish your thought and Walker, anybody else you like as far as.
Yeah, I mean, that was my thought. Although I did pick Max Brosmer up in Superflex leagues for everyone in the season.
Yeah, you got to do it.
Because the Vikings.
Any quarterback.
Yeah, the Vikings still have an easy schedule. And we're still looking for ceiling. We're not thinking about the outcome against Seattle. And you can get him for $1 this week. So you might as well, because, again, when they play the Cowboys, we're going to start him. So whatever. And then, Rich, you go ahead. I don't know if I have anyone else. Let's get into Walker.
Yeah, any guys? Running back's actually not terrible on this slate. Devin Achane's like the clean cut, like top dude, I think. Dolphins are a lot better home team. They're averaging a yard and a half per play at home more than they do on the road. He's gone over 100 yards in his last 3 games. The Saints aren't bad against the run, but they are not a good team, so teams get to run a lot on them. They face 29.4 backfield touches per game. That's the 3rd most in the league, so as a byproduct, they give 130 total yards. I like him. I did dance out Breece Hall. I like in this game a lot on this slate too. More of a tournament play. He wouldn't be like a cash game guy, but he's gone over 100 yards from scrimmage on 3 of his past 4 games. And since the trade deadline, because pre-trade deadline, they were like utilizing Isaiah Davis. And maybe that was the thing, like if they trade him or they're persevering him or what. But since the trade deadline, he's had over 80% of the backfield touches in all 3 games. His pass routes are way back up. The last 2 weeks, he's just under a 60% route rate. And this game is projected to be tight at home. Like Kirk Cousins isn't going to run away from them. And the Falcons are 21st in yards per carry on the running backs. But most importantly, it's the type of running back. So 34% of Breece Hall's runs are inside zone runs, the 3rd highest rate in the league. Falcons have a 48% success rate against inside run. That's 31st in the NFL. They're 31st in yards before contact in those runs. And as an out that piggybacks on what I just talked about, Breece Hall, they are 27th in receiving points allowed per game to running backs as well. So I do like Breece Hall. And if we're going to play Cam Ward, We just played some Travis Etienne on the way back, baby. We make a nice. We're gonna do a whole little stack here of Titans Jags, but do it without Trevor Lawrence. Etienne's been really good this year. I know everyone wants Spatial Tootin to be a thing, but Etienne has been the RB13 or better in 4 straight games. He's got 27, 18, 19, and 18 touches since the bye. Also since the bye, the Jaguars are 31st in dropback rate. Like they've really gone run heavy. Tennessee, again, just not a team like the Saints. Like they're just not good enough. So like they face just a lot of volume to running backs. So he doesn't have to be hyper efficient. He fits in our correlated stack because I'm going to have a receiver that we're going to play at Cam Ward too. And then one last guy to bring up is Jalen Warren. And it's not just because of the Bills, right? But we know the Bills are bad against the run, but it's the type of runs they're specifically bad against. So they are terrible against runs from heavy sets because the Bills play a lot of base nickel. Sean McDermott wants to play a lot of base nickel. They play more defensive backs than any other team. They play base nickel on 63% of opponent rushing plays. That's the 8th highest in the league. They also play 44% base nickel against 12 and 13 personnel. Guess what they're about to get a lot of? Guess who plays more tight ends than everybody? Against 12 and 13 personnel runs, the Bills are allowing 6.7 yards per carry to running backs. A pass attempt for some guys. For our guy Cam Ward, that's pass attempt. And we're not talking small sample. They faced 95 of these runs this year, the 6th most in the NFL. Because this is just like how McDermott likes to play defense. Well, the Steelers are 3rd in rate out of runs out of 13 personnel. Warren is 66 runs out of 12 and 13 personnel. The bummer is I think he's more of a FanDuel play because he's not playing any passing downs anymore, and it's been Kenneth Gainwell. But I do think that those splits were particularly kind of eye-opening when I went over them and then when I was writing that game up.
I think we're getting a Chamere DK reference in our future, if I heard you correctly.
100% we are, yeah.
He's also a double dip candidate, if you want to circle back on double dip.
We're not playing Titans defense.
All you can, honestly, if you want to. Whatever. Who cares?
All right. It's weird that we have Taylor on this slate. We have CMC on this slate. They're both in tough matchups, obviously. They certainly can overcome it. But and then there's also Bijan against the Jets as far as big spends when it comes to RBs. Okay. Receivers. Daigle, what do you got?
Past weeks we've had a lot of cheap guys. I don't feel like I've located the cheap guy for everyone to play. So I really just have, again, we're waiting on Marvin Harrison Jr. Is it he just practiced, but we don't know if he's coming back, right?
Yeah. I mean, I assume if he's practicing on Wednesday for a Sunday game, like it's usually this is a good sign.
All right. Skip Michael Wilson then. Let's go back to I'm just gonna go.
I will say if Jamel Dean is out, then you still are drawing live.
That's because I'm playing Jacoby Brissett. So that's why I'm drawing live, because I have to. I'm going to play double stacks. But let's go to one more in no man's land here, because Teteroa McMillan and a 10.5 point negative game script against the Rams, I do think is a believable asset. Last week, even, what a weird game on Monday night, by the way, between the Niners and Panthers, where it should have been a good spot for both quarterbacks. And both quarterbacks.
I like the over.
Oh, yeah, of course you could. Both quarterbacks should have been amazing, and they instead both literally failed in every aspect of the game because it's primetime football. But regardless, we've still seen Teteroa McMillan at least have 5 end zone targets the last 2 games now combined. And so I think they may not be using him correctly, but they're still using him in the slot more. And I think that's where he excels. And so in a negative game script, again, at a mid 6K price, I'm going to play him when he has no ownership, I believe, right now. And I don't have a cheap player, unfortunately. Again, I failed everyone.
I got to tell you, I mean, this is uncomfortable. But shout out to TJ. TJ actually talked this guy up on one of his shows, and I poo-pooed it. But I'm not saying I'm playing him, but we currently have, and this stuff will certainly change, John Mechie is the most popular person hitting stuff right now for the Sunday slate. He's just so cheap, obviously, salary cap reasons, but I don't know if that's going to sustain. Rich, the wide receivers, what do you got?
Yeah, I mean, he'll be out there. I think from a matchup stance, there's a big signal for Mitchell versus Mechie, but it's all small sample stuff because Mechie's hardly played, with the team, but he was out. They both were out there in full capacity, but we have seen in the very small sample when the Jets get single high, it's been like that's when you're taking the shots, right? That's when you're going downfield because Mechie's only averaging 4.5 air yards per target. It's all just mom pop stuff. Like he's the 2 touchdowns, but he's averaging 0.4 yards per out run against single high. Now you don't know if Mitchell's going to catch the ball or not, but that's where the targets have been going. I'm not even going to Mitchell this week. I was just bringing up that note. I think we got to start with Puka Nacua. Our king is back. We had talked about JC Horn being out, Moerig being out, but with Tyler Higbee being out, the Rams scrapped their 13 personnel last week. They only used it 10.9% of the time, and because they did that, Puka Nacua had his highest route participation in a game since week 5. And if that game had any type of pushback on Sunday night, he would have gone probably pretty nuts in that game. That's still a concern here. Maybe you don't get the pushback from the Panthers, but we got the Panthers missing 2 best players in their secondary. We know it's a static cover 3 defense. Puka Nacua against cover 3, 44% target rate, over 4 yards per route run. So like him, just because I won't bury the lead, then we'll do DK. Yeah. DK now has been a top 20 scoring receiver in 3 of his past 5 games. And one of those weeks he left after 16 snaps. He leads the team in catches over that span. He's been on the field for 90% of the dropbacks the last 3 weeks. He also leads the team in red zone targets. He's the wide receiver 6 in red zone target share this year. Now, he only has 9 red zone targets. They don't get down there very often. But, but yeah, so I mean, if we're going to dabble some, Cam Ward and DK is a pretty cheap ass stack if you want to build some stuff around.
It is. It is, in fact, a cheap ass stack. Yeah,
it is a cheap ass stack. And then one gross one that I left. You brought up Herbert. I think there's some signal here for Quentin Johnston if you can stomach playing him, who doesn't have a catch in 2 of his past 4 games. But big coverage signal stuff too. Raiders big single high cover 3 team, and that's kind of like where these shot play players like the Alec Pierces of the world. We talk about Mitchell, like these teams that play a lot of static single high, like these are where you're getting the big vertical plays out of. And this is where Johnston, he had 7 targets against the Raiders first time played. He had the 60-yard touchdown. So again, he would be more of a tournament play. And then I think Jalen Waddle's a good play too. So those are some guys that kind of build around.
Yeah, how many times is Seattle going to throw the ball against Max Brosmer is the thing with JSN, right?
Well, you said that, and last week JSN still had 100 and still had 37 fantasy points.
Well, I think 10 targets of like 26 passes. Is that right?
This is what he does. Like, listen, Rashid Shaheed went to die in Seattle. Like,
yep.
If you're still rostering Rashid Shaheed, like you gotta let him go in the wilderness. He's a punt returner.
Double dip. We like
but not on the Sunday slate. Don't double dip.
Catch one long one and run back a touchdown, and there you go. He's on his way. That it is as far as receivers. Anybody else we want to acknowledge? We like anything?
Yeah, I mean, Rich said them all. I didn't mention the Rams receivers just because I naturally thought everyone was going to play them with the Matthew Stafford because he's such an obvious play. But yeah, I have no cheap guys. Unfortunately, it's an ugly slate.
You see how Justin Jefferson has priced on DK down to 7-1.
He needs to be down to 4,500.
He's just not going to get. Yeah, I'm not saying to play him. I just
Well, he's the Stephon Diggs of 2024. Yeah, he needs to get down there a lot cheaper.
Not really his fault, but yeah.
No, I'm grateful. Listen, man, I didn't get everything right, but he was if you went off of my stuff, you did not draft Justin Jefferson this year.
I said the same thing, but I think I backdoored it incorrectly in that he had that hamstring injury late in the year, and I think that maybe naturally fade him. And so I probably got everything wrong based off that, but also I was right based on that. So whatever.
Daigle, tight ends. Are we just going back to our guy again here?
Who's our guy? Trey McBride?
Yeah, it's everybody. Yeah.
I mean,
is that what we're doing?
Well, you already mentioned Jacoby Brissett and Michael Wilson if Marvin Harris Jr. plays. So McBride, sure, why not? But also I will take a punt for Dawson Knox. I think is a good cheap play based on the matchup. Like last week, significantly tougher matchup, but we also saw a season high in routes run. He ran more routes than any Bills wide receiver, actually. And now the Steelers are allowing the third most targets per game to opposing tight ends. So Dalton K did not practice. And thus, I got that right. I got that one right. Thus, I think Dawson Knox is a starting tight end for cheap. So I'll mention him. Juwan Johnson's also interesting if you're playing Tyler Shuck. But beyond that, not much to add.
Bowers, Gadsden. Do we want to add anybody?
I don't want to play Bowers.
Rich. Yeah, I had Gadsden on the short list. So maybe we do need to get to Herbert in some capacity. I don't know because I brought up Johnston and you. I had Juwan Johnson. I can't believe Daigle just didn't take that. I just assumed he had to bring up Taysom Hill, but
well, he doesn't get used the same way. Like he hasn't run double-digit routes in any game.
Yeah, that's the thing. Moore. He's just like
he's literally a wildcat quarterback who only runs the ball, but he doesn't throw the ball. He only runs the ball. Like he had 10 carries and he scored 1.7 fantasy points. So it's like, who cares what this guy is now?
He's like Blake Bell when he was like Oklahoma's quarterback.
Yeah. And if that was on the Thanksgiving slate, I would 1,000% play Taysom Hill in a 3-game slate. But on the main slate, that just doesn't interest me at all.
2-7, but yeah, it's 2-7's. Is there a better punt tight end, Rich? Than
no.
You got to pick?
Nah, mentally, I don't think so.
If you got to pick one, if you're flat out punting.
10 carries.
What is Gunnar Helm in my Million Maker stack?
Well, still splitting routes.
He's 6.
That one was a joke. I legitimately brought up DK.
I legitimately brought up Davis Mills. That's who we need in this slate.
I do like Juwan Johnson though a lot, especially if Olave it ends up being a thing too.
Yeah,
like he's gonna be him.
Okay.
No. Don't gloss over. Who is the optimizer telling us to play at tight end?
Okay.
I'm not allowing you to move on.
If it's Kyle Pitts again, like if they keep spinning,
we're not playing Kyle Pitts.
Like I'm not playing Kyle Pitts.
I'll give you both. Let's see. I'll give you both RG and I'll give you what the blitz. I'll give you both because sometimes they're different. I'm concocting some fresh lineups.
I trust Cardi's work. We double check Cardi's work at ETR. Like we know he does great work.
Let's see. I shouldn't. I don't know why I'm running 100 lineups. Just thinking, okay, it's going to come up here in just a second.
Run them.
But, yeah, and to be fair, I added some bells and I added some whistles, so I added a little bit of a variance. But Gadsden 56%, Bowers 50%, Schultz 30%, Dolchich at 15% for Miami. There's a chance Waller might come back?
I think they are expecting it to be next week though.
Okay, yeah. I mean, yeah. Keep an eye on. Obviously, you don't play Dolchich if Waller happens to come back. That is
we're also seeing pretty consistently now that the windows opening do not mean the player is back that week. So hold your breath on Amari and Hampton as well.
I was just going to ask. Yeah, I saw Hampton opened up. Okay, yeah, I'm not sure if we're expecting him to play or not as well, but that's certainly something that's noteworthy. Okay, so Cardi has a thing for Pitts because Pitts is
every week, and this dude pops up.
It's because he's running a route on like 90% dropback.
Yeah, that's why in Sims he always shows up.
It just doesn't matter, man. It's like Jacoby Myers. Jacoby Myers is going to be in the Sims every game the rest of the year.
I just think it's interesting that our guy, the tight end we all want to play, is not hitting optimals, which is
because he's so expensive now.
Yes, McBride,
and it's a tighter slate right now as we are.
We'll see.
Wednesday.
And honestly,
and it's a sucky slate as well.
If Baker doesn't play, like the Bucks can't push back. They have no chance of pushing back. The Cardinals are going to win by 13.5 points. Bet that line.
Tampa's currently favored right now for what it's worth.
It's the wrong line. Like without Baker, I'm not kidding. The Bucks cannot push back.
Who's your favorite backup quarterback in the backup quarterback commercials?
The commercials.
Did Jameis just refuse? Was he like insulted? Like, how dare you ask me? Some backup quarterbacks probably said no thanks. I'm good. They're insulted.
Dean, did you see Jameis and Jackson Dart's handshake? They have a personal handshake.
Amazing.
And when he caught that 30-yard touchdown, it lasts 5 minutes. It's too long, by the way. But they both live their own lives. So who cares? Dude, the Giants have vibes. The Giants are fun.
It's just crazy. We were deprived of Jameis like all season long until like week 10 or
well,
whatever.
No one said that.
That was the play of the season. Season.
No one said that after the Packers game. Like, to be fair.
No.
He should just be playing football is the point for some team.
Yes.
He had the play of the week. Yeah, you saw the touchdown he had? Is there something, Rich?
This is
The reception, the touchdown catch, that's the best play of the year.
Incredible.
This is
Also, we got to get out of here, man.
I'm sorry.
Like, we got to leave.
Oh, we got our movie. Yeah, we got plenty. Well, okay, yeah. Well, let's wrap it up and we'll talk about our movie.
Me and Daigle are supposed to be on a different show at 10 o'clock.
This is the Ian Hartitz stream of conscious thought. Is that his best idea ever, and it's a good idea. He doesn't have many good ideas.
He has good ideas.
Not a lot though. He's a volume shooter. Is that anytime a quarterback's injured, Jameis Winston should be available to get picked up by that team and just go around the league. That's the Ian Hartitz thought right there.
Imagine if the Vikings had Jameis right now.
Oh, yeah. Super Bowl. Or at least
Justin Jefferson would be startable.
7-1. I'm hitting lock button on Jefferson. All right. We do have to wrap.
I'm sorry. I wasn't aware. My fault.
No, it's all right. I mean, that's a lot of football content that's more than we usually do.
Yeah.
All right. We were chatting.
But we do got to hustle through this.
On a Wednesday night.
Rich carried us. Good job.
Okay. That is your football. If that's all you want.
You brought the entertainment.
Enjoy your Thanksgiving. We'll see you back here next week. But we do want to talk about our movie. So we're going to go ahead and bring in TJ. TJ's Warrich producing the show. We also have Rob jumping in here. Rob Coakley, of course, from Hometown Ghost Stories, from Spike Week. My apologies, guys. I did not. If there was a memo that you guys had a hard out,
it's not necessarily a hard out. We're usually done in 2 hours.
Bad clock management on my part. So I will apologize. We'll do our best to speed things up. TJ, welcome to the show. Well, you've been here the whole time, but what's up? Everything good?
Great, yeah. Jay's got Dylan Cease. Had a great week last week. Get to pick the movie this week. Life's good.
Jay's got Cease.
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
210 million.
Yeah, he's a strikeout pitcher.
Yeah, good luck. I'm happy. I hope Toronto sticks around and keeps doing things next year. Rob, how are things? Everything good?
Things are good. Let's get into this movie.
Hold on. I'm sorry. I don't mean to turn Rob. I really don't mean to do this, but I did tease the Silva play of the year, and I didn't say it. I'm sorry.
Oh, yeah.
I'm sorry, Rob. But really quickly, the Silva play of the year for everyone who has money on whatever sports book they bet on is, I'm sorry, the Browns plus 4.5 points. Oh. He believes the Browns are built to beat the Niners naturally. So the Browns plus 4.5 play of the year against the Niners.
What does naturally mean?
Just heads up, like just
straight up.
Yeah,
straight up.
Yeah, but I want everyone to be safe, so take the field goal. But Silva's personally, I think betting like plus 250 for the Browns just win.
I told you, man. Jim Schwartz 6-1 against Kyle Shanahan.
Yeah, Silva loves the Browns this week. Loves them.
It should be very windy there as well, for what it's worth. 36.5 total in Cleveland. We watched one battle after another. Released this. You watched it 3 times.
I watched it 3 times. Yeah.
I paid $20 to rent it. I'm probably gonna watch it again. I have a 48-hour window to watch it as many times as I want, so I might watch it again tonight. I'm looking forward to it a second time around. Spoiler alert! I liked it. One battle after another. The synopsis is as follows: Bob is a washed-up revolutionary who lives in a state of stone paranoia, surviving off-grid with his spirited and self-reliant daughter, Willa. When his evil nemesis resurfaces and Willa goes missing, the former radical scrambles to find her as both father and daughter battle the consequences of their past. All right. Of course, directed by the greats Paul Thomas Anderson. We have Leonardo DiCaprio, Sean Penn, Benicio del Toro, Chase Infinity. Her first movie, by the way, She was in that The Accused series that was on Apple with Gyllenhaal. But this, I believe, was their first movie. So shout out to her.
Incredible year for movie debuts.
What else you got?
Miles Caton in Sinners.
Okay.
That was a good one.
I don't know. Sinners was great. What did Miles Caton play in Sinners? Well,
He's the main young dude. He's the singer.
Oh, okay. Yeah. He was great. Yeah, for sure.
I have the link, Daigle.
Was Terrifier this year, Rob? Oh, how do you have the link and I don't have the link?
I mean, you might have it, but
I don't think I have it. Rob, was Terrifier this year? Was that a debut?
Terrifier 3 or which Terrifier?
Oh, number 1.
I would no.
Oh, damn it. I'm sorry. All right, ignore me. Ignore me for the rest of the show. That's everyone's best interest right now. I'm sorry.
Well, I want to start with Daigle because Daigle says he's seen this 3 times, so I assume he's going to come out firing.
Well, to be fair, Dean, I watched it 1 time before we were assigned to watch it, and then I watched it 2 times the past 7 days, just because it's fun. It gives you a lot of anxiety, and also I still don't know if Leonardo DiCaprio acts in anything he does, but also that could be viewed as him acting because he really just sucks you in. His anxiety acting is the best in the entire industry. He seems like he's stressed at all times in this movie. Not to mention and I've talked to friends about this on the side, and I feel like they don't catch or appreciate what Benicio del Toro does. And we all know, everyone listening to the show knows that Benicio del Toro is my favorite actor ever.
He's great.
But like to add the comedic timing to this movie, which is all he does, like he adds every single perfect line in this movie where that you shouldn't even hear, but he kind of just pokes out, chips it in, you laugh, and then he gets out of the movie. It's perfect. Everything, and it's best, I think, as both TJ and Rob told us last week, maybe just TJ, can't remember right now, but someone told us last week that no one should look up what it's about. And that's what's the best part, is that you should not ever view what this movie's actually about, seeing the whole storyline, and you should just watch it and figure it out yourself, because the acting alone is amazing as well on top of all that.
Yeah, I went in totally cold. I had no clue.
That's the best.
Somehow I managed to avoid all the spoilers. Did anybody else not know what the movie's about? Just kind of hit play.
My first time, I didn't know.
Rob, Rich, TJ.
I unfortunately saw a trailer for it. I mean, it didn't kill the movie, but I did have a rough idea of what I was walking into.
But Daigle, to your point, the anxiety DiCaprio might be my best scene in this movie. Like him on the phone, trying to figure out the password.
The password.
The best.
It's like an hour long, but it feels like you need another. It doesn't feel like an hour at all, because he's making sure you're encapsulated by every second you're wasting there.
TJ, you picked One Battle After Another. I believe you saw it before this week, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe not. But,
yeah, it's not in theaters.
Okay. I feel so bummed that I did not see this in the theaters. It's a perfect theater movie. I imagine the theater experience was probably better than watching it on my TV. But I'm guessing that you liked it in the theaters?
Yeah, it's my second favorite movie of the year behind Sinners. I thought it was really, really good. I think it's for sure top 3 PTA for me. Arguably 1, but definitely top 3 with from just my personal favorites. Maybe if I was ranking them critically, I'd have it a little bit different, but along with Magnolia and Boogie Nights for my personal favorite PTA films. And I just thought it was really, really fun. I think it makes a lot of sense why Daigle loves Benicio del Toro, because both of them, just a few small beers. One of
the best lines.
Yeah, the smile on his face when he says that is great.
Yeah.
Although 8:15 when they're asking the time, it's 8:15. That also is the best line.
Yeah, sneaky funny movie throughout the whole thing. Just some incredible shots.
Yeah,
there are some I could have used a little more Tiana Taylor in this movie. I thought just the way they started it out was so powerful, with her being so incredible from an acting performance as my cat Shadow comes and says hello. That would probably be my biggest qualm. Could have used a little bit more Tiana Taylor in this movie. But in general, I thought it was a really great film.
It was his 10th movie, by the way, Paul Thomas Anderson. For me, it's not going to jump Boogie Nights or There Will Be Blood, but 3 through 9 is just kind of fluid. And the one that I wasn't a big fan of, the one Paul Thomas Anderson movie I did not love, Inherent Vice, didn't do it for me. Wasn't my favorite. But
that's the Master for me.
That's the Master's one you didn't like? Interesting.
Yeah. I'm just not really a Joaquin Phoenix guy outside of Gladiator.
Rob, you're always tough to please. One Battle After Another. What do you got?
Did you guys watch this on Amazon Prime?
I watched it on Apple.
Okay. I don't think I can watch another movie on Amazon Prime. I think there is an issue with sound, and I've heard other people say this too. Just for some reason, the score was really overpowering in this movie, and I've had
But
this
it's also
happen
very
another-
bad. I feel like it's
And
very
it's bad.
divisive. I feel like it's good. That's probably the most divisive part of this movie. But
The piano?
the piano, I wasn't vibing with it at all.
My God,
Really?
dude, like
No.
it was
The dude from
awful.
Radiohead.
I feel like that's gonna be this is very good or very. I feel like that's gonna be
Yeah,
something
because
that
I disagree with both of you. I think it fit it perfectly.
No,
Yeah.
there's certain scenes, like it's when they're in Benicio del Toro's apartment. That whole clip area, like Amazon Prime does something with like scores of movies where they just overpower it, and it's just ringing in your head, and you miss everything else. And I'm wondering if I saw this in the theater, if I would have liked it better. I also thought it sucked, like that part of the score. That there was other great parts of the score, but like there were certain areas of this movie where the score just was sort of taking me out of it. Other than that, the acting's pretty great. I think some of the side characters in the beginning sucked, to be honest, but I think Regina Hall was the best actor in this entire movie, and I would have liked to have more of her in this as well. It's funny, it's good, it's stressful. It felt like the Big Lebowski but paranoia version as he's running around in the bathrobe the entire time. And I also felt like some of the scenes were almost like Wes Anderson movie scenes, just the way that they were framed and like the context. Like it was like, is he trying to do like some Wes Anderson nods here, which was kind of cool. Overall, it's a really good movie, but I have a few things that I think it was a little too long. Honestly, I think they could have.
Really?
I think they could have. I think they could have shaved the beginning. I mean, once it hit,
there was like a 30-minute prologue basically to this movie.
Rich clearly agrees with you, and this show's gonna fight this week.
Yeah, because I didn't like this movie at all, so
wow.
it even got to me. So
wow.
We should go to Rich.
Yeah.
I was definitely not into this movie, and I like PTA too, and it's because this movie, from a filmmaking stance, I think as a film, it is a good film. I think cinematography is good. I think it was like logic. It was shot well, but there is absolutely zero nuance in this movie. Everything it tries to bring up as a major talking point, it is just surface level, nothing below. It has nothing to say about everything. It just wants to touch on immigration, class warfare, white supremacy. It has nothing to say about this. And the commentary and the political extremism on both sides are painted so ludicrously extreme that there are no characters in the movie. They're just cartoon characters. They're like 3 real characters in this movie. And no matter what side you were on politically, it's so jarring. It just took me completely out of the movie. The characters, I don't even think are written well. He just did a good job of casting, and the actors brought performances that were compelling. But I think as they were written, the characters were largely garbage in this movie. I thought Willa and Regina Hall's character were really good as characters, and Benicio del Toro was the most fun. But I was completely removed by every single time they went to the political extreme side. Like it just took me out of the movie so greatly. It was just really something I wasn't with at all.
We're all pushed back on that thought. Is I think what the movie was saying is it doesn't matter which side of the political spectrum you're on, which side, even.
Oh no, they definitely were forcing a side. They were forcing an agenda.
No, let me finish. What I'm saying is it doesn't matter when your daughter's in danger. None of that shit, whatever you've stood for, whatever was important to you, none of that matters when your daughter is in danger, because that is the only thing that is the only priority in your world.
Unless you're Sean Penn's daughter in this movie.
Yeah.
What do we think of Sean Penn's performance? Because if you're saying kind of character-y,
he was just so unbelievable. He took me out of the movie every time he came on.
I
know people are going to love him. He'll probably win.
Yeah.
This movie is going to win awards, and I think this movie this will be one of these movies that wins awards and is kind of forgotten in a few years.
Yeah, I think the cartoon characters of the acting is really good. I think they kind of should.
They had to. It's a mislead because the movie is written terribly.
I think Sean Penn did a great job, being extravagant in his role. I think his role should have been extravagant, honestly.
Yeah. I mean, but
I'll be the heel on this one.
If you want to make that argument.
I feel like at this time too, especially in the world, like where the world is so divided on such extremes right now, for this movie to come out and take that track and to paint these characters like that, no matter what side you're on, you were represented to like such a laughable state. And like, that's the problem is like most Americans like that don't speak up or like have voice, like we don't live on the ideological extremes like this movie's trying to say like it is. And like I said, this movie from like what the actual plot is like 45 minutes too long, like for what the actual plot is of this movie.
Yeah, I think it's too long. I think they try to middle it too much too to Rich's, like to sort of like they do that extreme cartoon character stuff, and then they have like these really like good dramatic moments. And I just don't think the balance is done insanely well. There's a point where this movie hits and I really started to like it, but I don't disagree with Rich's points at all. Like and I just think the beginning was too long, man. I think we could have got there way quicker and then got into what we needed to get into.
I would agree with that. That's a decent point. That definitely could have used a trim there because again, the prologue to get like 15 years, 16 years in the future, it took us a while to get there.
With a character that the character didn't need that much screen time. Like that we're focused on in the beginning.
Less
like
or more. Needed less at the beginning or more throughout the film.
What Perfidia you're talking about? Perfidia just
because I feel like the idea of revolution, Rob, did need the first chapter of this movie.
I don't
maybe you disagree, but I feel like it didn't overstay its welcome. The idea that's what it was doing, because the next 2 hours was basically Leo and Benicio del Toro making jokes about the revolution or trying to hide like what they're trying to do when they're told 30 years later the revolution is back.
I felt like I could have shaved 10 minutes off. I'll have to do a Rob cut on this movie and
I don't ever need a 3-hour movie that's not a superhero movie. So I agree from that point. Like if it's a superhero movie, great. I'll take as long as you'll possibly give me. Otherwise, I don't ever need a movie to be longer than 2 hours, 30 minutes.
This is the first one that has divided us because man,
I feel like this movie is probably divisive too in the way that it is the ideas it represents and has nothing to say about them at all.
But I think that in not saying anything, with them being like you both said, cartoon.
No, this is typical Hollywood.
I think it's kind of perfect
stuff,
though. I think it's kind of perfect. They're cartoon characters though, and not saying anything because they are wacky characters. They're fucking wild. Like Leo becomes a father at some point, and he's making whistles and he's like saying weird things to his daughter. There's a lot going on here.
That's to me how I understood it very much so was focusing on one singular thing, like I need to save my daughter, when there are all these wackiness going on in the world around you at all times.
Also, he should have broke his legs when he fell off the roof. We're falling 40 feet.
That was a great scene, by the way. Just the way
it was funny.
Skateboard. Yeah.
Funny, but he landed on his feet. That's broken legs, buddy.
Yeah. Is that 4 stories? It was pretty fun. Like,
yeah.
Dean, we've all cut you off though. We've been arguing now about this, so you hadn't seen either.
You gotta go though.
You came in fresh.
Yeah, I'm trying to be as concise as possible, but yeah, I thought it was excellent. I like PTA. I thought it was interesting. Like the first half hour was like a super serious movie. Like was there maybe one joke in the first half hour, but then PTA starts working as the back half shenanigans ensue, and like there are serious topics, but there's also a lot of jokes. I do think we should at least acknowledge how incredible that chase scene was at the end. I know, Rich, you probably already tapped out at that point.
Again, too long. There's too many. It's too long. Like it's just overdone, man. Like there's just too much of the same stuff. Like we get it.
This is built up with Sean Penn and when he was checking into the office, you knew something was going to happen. Like
they try to do John Wick shit, like in terms of like characters and stuff, like these weird. Like the nuns and all this other shit. Like it just like they try to do John Wick stuff, but like the world setting didn't make sense for it.
So what you're saying is watch John Wick 4 instead of one battle after another.
I'm saying watch John Wick 1 instead of one battle after another.
You should also watch 4 though. So watch all of them. How about that?
And then Sisu. You gotta get Sisu in there somehow.
4. We should have seen the second Sisu.
It's not till next year. We can't do that yet.
No, isn't it out now or coming up?
Wait, what? TJ, there's no chance he picks that.
There's no
It's
chance.
it's not a theater. It's a theater release though. It's not on nothing.
Okay.
I don't think
There's
it's on anything.
no
Well,
money.
see you next week.
Yeah,
There
it's not,
Saturday.
it's not going to make any money.
Do you guys have like 5-10 more minutes? I don't want. If we want to wrap it up, we can wrap it up. As far
I
as
feel like I have all the time in the world. Rich is telling me we don't have time.
I mean, we're 10
so-
minutes behind. They're already pinging us.
Oh, are they? They're trying to draft
Yeah.
right now. Oh,
Oh,
Well,
is there
no,
I know there's a draft going on. I'm sorry. I missed this, and I should have just been. I should have asked you guys pre-show because I know
No,
you guys
we're good.
typically do something the night before Thanksgiving. But okay, we should just dive in and do our scores. And TJ will. Well, before we do our scores, I guess we'll play the Rotten Tomatoes game. Rich, Rotten Tomatoes, critics and
Too high.
audience.
critics are gonna be high, not too high.
Too high.
Calm down.
Well, what is
This is probably like 90%, right? Like 90.
Well, I can't say yes or no. This is the
Yeah,
game.
just say, give you a head nod. All right. I'll go 90 critics, 85 audience.
Daigle.
I was gonna say 91 critics, so I'm gonna go there. And audience, I feel like it's similar, right? But let's go 85 to go one down from Rich.
He said 85. You're saying 84?
86 then. 86. Let's go to that.
You got to go up.
Rob.
I'll go
Same difference.
87 critics and I'll go 82 audience.
TJ.
I was gonna go 95, 85, but considering that there's already two 85s on the board, I'll go 94 critics, 84 audience.
Okay. So, yeah, Rich, you said it's going to be super divisive. Then you say 85 audience, and you were right. It's 85 audience. 85%.
Well, because Rotten Tomatoes, thumb up, thumbs down.
yeah.
You're going to get a lot of sixes.
We'll
To me,
say-
if I was giving this a score, I would give it like a 6.
So
Okay.
you would give it a thumb up, even though you
Yeah, I would give it like a 6.
begrudging thumb up. And the critics 94%, which I think TJ guessed.
Wow, 94.
Critics loved it.
Oh, this is such a critic.
Yeah, this is a
circle
spell
pit.
your own
It's
part.
like
movie.
Birdman.
Yeah, this is such a.
Wow. I love Birdman. For the record.
I was actually
love
like 45 into this movie. I was like, oh, I just know like everyone was just wafting this
I
shit.
love this movie. This movie's fun.
TJ, IMDb 1 through 10.
It's gonna be high. It's gonna be high. I'm gonna go 8.
Rob,
7-3.
Daigle.
8-3.
Yeah, it's an 8 now, but I bet a year from now it's in the 7s.
So you're saying
And
8
I think
very-
I think it's an 8, and then it's gonna be lower. I think this movie is gonna be received worse as time moves on.
It's like
you're
Crash.
making it like it's Crash.
Not quite like Crash.
You both
Dude.
just said Crash.
Yeah.
I will say this movie will hold up better than Crash. I don't
But
think-
Crash on the spot,
I
feel
think
like was fun.
especially where we're going to be headed towards the future politically, I think that this movie's not going to hold up.
someone's gonna have a say in this movie.
Yeah.
It's an 8.0 on IMDb. So I think Rich insisted on an 8, and TJ started with an 8. So you guys got it. You guys nailed it. As far as the score, it's a monster score. An 8 on IMDb is a huge, huge score. Okay.
It's also
we gotta
new.
say it again.
It's also new.
Is that typically that it goes down
Yeah.
over time? Okay. Rich, you want to give me a tight end?
You're going to be told that this thing is amazing. You're going to be told that you have to see it. It is 100% Kyle Pitts.
I knew it was. I
Fucking
knew
Kyle
it
Pitts.
was.
This shit is Kyle
That's
Pitts to
actually
the
perfect.
fullest. No, and I do get people will like this, but
I think
Rob, 1 through 5.
3-2.
TJ, superhero.
I'm going with a superhero who is very aloof and silly at times and also can get real intense in the intense moments. I'm going with Star-Lord of the Guardians of the Galaxy.
Star-Lord. Okay.
You know,
Um,
hold on, Dean.
Someone that also is not for everybody. Some people hate him. Other
Dean,
people adore
Do
him.
you like Star-Lord?
I don't know who Star-Lord is. Oh, that's
Oh,
I know who
that's
that
the
is.
whole point.
Chris Pratt and Guardians of
Oh
the
yeah,
Galaxy.
yeah. I've seen a couple of those movies. They're fine. Yeah, I like them. Sure. I just didn't know that was his name. I forgot that was his name was Star-Lord, but I've seen some of those movies.
Daigle's about to piss me off.
Daigle, the pressure's on, wrestler.
Oh no, I'm gonna piss Rob off because I feel like this movie is I know it tells different chapters, but stagnant from beginning to end. And the character development is not really much. It's about the story development. And so I feel like the characters at the beginning are still the same great actors they were at the end. They just got more opportunity. And so I am going to go, Rob. It's a powerhouse. But I think this movie is Roman Reigns because it stays somewhat the same throughout. But it's you can enjoy it the entire time.
Rob, this is where you agree or disagree.
I disagree, but we'll have this argument in the future.
No, we won't. We have 1 minute. Who would you pick?
Yeah. There are things to talk about in this movie that we're not going to do on the internet. That we do.
Yeah, that too. That's
We'll
not why
have
we're
this
trying to
conversation
make it a reasonable
elsewhere.
time. Yeah. Rob, who would you have picked?
Who would I have picked for this movie? Like your upper mid-carder that never really got the run at the top because they just didn't have the tools to do it. So
that's not correct.
So they're good, but they're not great. So it would have to be
Ziggler.
Well, but I think
That's a good
Ziggler.
one.
But I think Ziggler was underrated. I think this movie's overrated.
Oh, well, never mind. This is why I don't play the game.
So that's where I'd have to think about it through that lens.
I can't wait.
Is it Sheamus?
Sheamus is a good one.
Also,
One of the
overrated to
6
underrated to
wrestlers I know.
overrated to underrated. Yeah, Sheamus is really good.
Yeah.
We're going to revisit this movie. Someone write this down. Whoever the treasurer of the Pick Six show is, write it down. Let's come back to this grade on Rotten Tomatoes in 5 years, and let's revisit it since we have people claiming different things. Because I think it's going to hold
Don't
up
let
just
these
fine.
idiots convince you you're wrong. This is a great movie.
I think it's a great movie. And
Let's watch it together and
Do I have to come
argue
to
throughout
Boston?
it.
Not on Amazon.
Because if we come to Boston, we're going to do other things and sit down and watch one battle
I
after
get it,
another.
man.
So yeah,
If we all get
Definitely not.
together, all I want to do is just spend the day watching one movie after another.
or Vlad YouTube
Yeah.
runs whatever TJ wants to do.
I'm giving it an 85 out of 100. I really liked it. It's not the best Paul Thomas Anderson movie, but that's hard to be because he's made 2 of the top 10 movies of all time, in my opinion. Okay, so TJ, you won last week. Is it democracy, or are you just assigning it something?
I will give you a theater out, but I assume people aren't going to
No.
take it because they're busy. And so the movie will be K-pop Demon Hunters, unless you guys want to go to Wake Up Dead Man, a Knives Out mystery in theaters.
Oh.
You did tell us last week that if you won again, you were picking K-pop Demon.
I did.
Hunters.
I did.
He did say it.
And yet I played Jameis with 4 lines. I didn't beat you. So
Hey, it's because I had Jameis too, but with Wandale.
you played the right ones. Yeah.
Can I pay $20 again to not watch the movie like I did last week?
Dean is taking last place out. He's paying out the winner just to not watch the movie.
I'll pay $20 for Dean to watch this movie.
I'll add in 20.
Well,
So Dean,
also
Dean, you're actually profiting
hated
$20
one
to watch
battle
the
after
movie now.
another, so I needed to give a movie that I know Reebs loves.
Dean, you're at $20 profit to watch this movie, so you have to watch it.
I'm going to watch the movie. I'll watch it. These are the rules. This is what I signed up for, so I can't complain.
Sure.
And TJ's watched every movie I've assigned, even the Liam Neeson ones. So, all right. We do have to get out of here.
That's the beauty. We all have different tastes.
Well,
bring
we
it
need a
together.
bad movie, badly.
This is still Roman Reigns. Fuck you.
The people know who you guys are. We don't have time.
Yeah. I got to get out of here.
That's Rich. That's John. That's Rob. That's TJ. Happy Thanksgiving. I was Dean. Enjoy your week. Get out of here. Over.
Please.